Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex and landed at episode number 111, and I charged the red scarf with first-degree murder. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
You didn't know I could do that, did you?
I didn't know you could do that.
I can do that.
Today we celebrate our 111th birthday.
111th birthday.
Triple ones. Woo.
Or epiversary.
Every week's an epiversary, if you think about it.
It's true.
Every week we reach a new milestone.
You're right. We're still here. Now I'm depressed.
You're depressed that we're still here?
I don't really like you guys all that much. It's kind of a punishment. I'm serving time for community service.
What'd you do to get sentenced to this?
Oh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Needless to say, if it hadn't been for that horse, it would have ended much worse.
You wouldn't have spent that year in college?
That's right.
Nice newest Black reference there. How are you guys?
Fine, much better than last week.
You feeling better?
Yes.
Both of you?
Feeling,
Just got a little bit of a cough left over and some sniffles, but overall feeling
you look
pretty
a
healthy.
lot better. You looked better last night than
I
you
feel
did.
a lot better. I'm not dragging around. Still having a hard time sleeping at night, but
And Sean, you're over from the crud you had?
I think mostly, yeah. I was saying the same thing. I still have the cough. It's really bad in the mornings. Is yours bad in the mornings?
yeah, or overnight.
That waking up and and you just 15 minutes of
Stuff coming out of your lungs.
just yeah, getting the carburetor to turn over
Yeah.
and you know. But yeah, I feel a lot better.
You guys do anything fun this weekend?
Fun.
Anything this weekend? Nothing fun.
All right, then you guys should go first.
We went to Sean and I were invited to our local what is it? The American Advertisers Federation. It's the Topeka chapter. Tough Grit was up for an award for an Addy, and they had a dinner and a show last night to present the awards. And Tough Grit actually won a silver Addy last night, which
For an award
isn't
that aired in the show, right? Not for the show itself.
yeah for the show itself for infomercial in the category infomercial.
Oh, I guess. I guess
the
it
show's
is
pretty much an infomercial. Yeah.
Long advertisement.
Right. Long form advertising. So, yeah.
There can be a Grammy for long form music video.
That's right. We were honored to receive the silver. Unfortunately, you have to get the gold to move on to the next level. But the silver's nice. It was nice to be recognized for all the hard work, even though
At the very least, you got a nice
we
dinner.
only get 1 year. Yeah. It was a pretty decent dinner, too. Wasn't bad.
You know who
It wasn't
catered it?
bad.
I don't
Was
know.
it a Boods?
Romana, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
It was
I
at
don't know
the
who makes
Romana,
that
I'm
food.
assuming?
It was at the Romana.
They probably
yeah.
catered it and they had their own kitchens and stuff.
So there you go. But it was steak and grilled shrimp and
Ooh.
garlic mashed potatoes and
4 carrots.
4 carrots. There's a joke there because about every other plate at our table, you either had a mound of carrots or you had 4. And so it was really weird to look around the table and see mound of carrots, 4 carrots, mound of carrots, 4 carrots, mound of carrots, 4 carrots. I was one of the ones with 4 carrots.
I had 4.
Do you think they were doing some
Kellen had
profiling?
3.5.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd think with
He
us,
needs them. He doesn't. He needs them. He doesn't.
you'd think we would have gotten
They
more
won't
carrots.
eat them anyways.
I think what it was is the plates came out and the guy was just scooping
Not
and
looking.
throwing them out there, and then somebody went, whoa, you're going to run out of carrots, dude. You got to back that up a little bit. So then they skimped on the rest of us.
Yeah. So
I keep
I
wanting
didn't
to pick
notice-
this up and play with it.
did all the women get mounds of carrots? Because
Yeah.
now that I think about it, their plates all came out first,
Yeah.
and then ours came out, and then all the guys' plates came out.
Well, Dave had several carrots.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Maybe he got a girl
He
plate.
was in between.
He had a girl plate. But I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed the little skit that they did, the kind of old time radio. You didn't get that light, did you? My red light.
I didn't get your
my red light that says on air.
There was a on air light at the.
I told my wife I didn't want that one.
I appreciate. I was getting that one. I appreciate the attempt last night. I thought it was poorly executed.
Really?
The guy was pretty good, but I don't know. There was too many audio problems with it.
There were a lot of audio problems. I'll give you that.
And his records wouldn't cue at the right times, and the jokes were good, but I don't know. It was odd. It was strange, and I'll tell you what. I was about asleep by the time the thing was over. I was so bored. It was so boring.
It was kind of boring.
It's kind of like going to the KABs.
I hope nobody that's in the American Head Federation of Jamaica listening to this show right now, but you guys really need to do a better job at your presentation.
Well, it's one of those. It's not.
If you get nominated.
Well, even then, it's one of those that it's a show by advertisers for advertisers. So if you're not in that particular, it's kind of meaningless to you.
Well, that's true.
You know.
Although I did know a lot of people. Keith Wahlberg was there last night.
Oh,
Dustin Dean.
Alyssa Minky? She works for JHP.
Might have been there. The Sheehies were there.
They had like 10 tables. So
JHP, yeah, they got a huge staff.
The Sheehies were there. Brandon and I can't remember her name. Alyssa? Martha and Gary Pyland, because she's got MB Pyland now. She does marketing. So yeah, there was a lot of people I was familiar with through either the station or through theater or a number of things.
Topeka's not that big.
No, it's not.
Many people.
Exactly. Small town.
Especially in industry-related stuff.
That's right. But yeah, it was neat. I was glad to have gone. I was glad to have gotten invited to go because again, it was a really neat dinner and it was nice to see us pick something up. And just the ceremony itself was. The pictures thing was cool. They had a camera set up there, and you could walk up there, and then they'd hand you a remote, and you'd walk up there with the remote, and you'd smile at the camera and push the remote and take your own picture. It was
so it wasn't Say Cheese photo booth.
No, well, kind of that, but
kind of that, but not that,
but not on that scale. Yeah, but
I got a picture of the top of my head.
He did. I have no idea why, but he looked straight down and snapped the picture. Now it's not like the photographer was getting ready to take the picture, and Sean said, "Oh, hang on a second," looked down, and the photographer made a mistake. No, Sean is the photographer, and he bends down and takes a picture.
You were looking down to see what button you pushed, weren't you?
No, I was looking. They told me to stand on the blue line, so I had to stand on the blue line.
So you're looking to make sure you're in the right spot and push the button.
Well, and then I decided if I'm really looking down, I want a picture of the top of my head.
I'm hoping that
you don't get to see it very often.
I'm hoping that wherever these pictures show up, that they do them all, so that you see Sean bent down, top of his head. Because I'm going to post that on Traveling Vortex.
That's the first thing I said. Oh, the top of my head.
You don't see that very often.
Not very often. You see the top of your head. You going to put that back on, please?
I will say this for they had the DJ and they were kind of doing this flashback thing like 50s radio. So he was doing 50s radio DJ stuff. And then the advertising was all of the award stuff. So it was kind of like, and now the boring part. And so-and-so gets an award. Yeah, this is kind of boring, and we'll apply. But I looked at Mel afterwards, and I said...
play a song so you can go get another drink.
Yeah. I'll say this. Watching that, pretty much, for me, hit it on the head that this is what is completely wrong with radio today. Because you don't get the show.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get the experience of listening to the radio where these guys... tell stories and jokes and entertain you.
I totally agree.
It's just some guy in a booth pushing buttons.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, you don't even get that. It's all
you get morning shows, but they're all syndicated and stuff like that. But they're not as good. It
just really the nostalgia factor kicked in for me. It was like I miss Wolfman Jack and Casey Kasem
I love Wolfman Jack.
You know, that kind of stuff. By the way, I'm replacing myself next week with a robot.
You are?
Yeah, we're going totally automated on Traveling the Vortex.
That'll be fun.
I checked the conditions of my.
Wait a minute.
Hang on. The conditions of my parole do not actually require me to be here.
You miss the days of the radio DJ being there and somebody actually being in the seat, and you miss that in radio, and then you turn around and not miss a beat, saying you're going to replace yourself with it. You're going to do exactly what you don't like.
As you have told me on numerous occasions, this isn't radio. So I don't feel bound or obligated by the same rules.
That's true.
It's true.
You didn't bring me an on-air light. If you brought me an on-air light, I'd have stuck around.
He'll be on the same pay grade as you, so.
Do you guys do anything else besides the
might be more
Addies?
energy, too.
I'm totally showing up next week with a little paper bag on my hand. It's just going to be Seanbot 4000. Hello, everybody. I'm going to make you guys talk to the bag next week. I'm going to duck down behind the table and do the whole show from under the table.
The visual will be lost on everyone but us.
Won't matter. It'll be worth it.
Sarah and I went and saw Skyfall.
Oh, you beat somebody, huh?
Yeah, I beat somebody.
And?
I enjoyed it. It was good.
It's coming from a non-Bond fan.
Different.
So.
Everybody I've talked to said it's a
It's
phenomenal
not
film,
what I
though.
expect from a Bond film.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all. This won't spoil anything for you.
And you
but
saw Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, right?
Yes.
Oh,
I saw
for
Casino
sure.
Royale when it came out, and then Quantum of Solace a couple months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, you watched it with us, didn't you?
Because I hadn't seen it.
Sucks so bad. Horrible film.
No, it doesn't. It's good. Pretty good film.
I would have
Yes.
better respect for Skyfall if it didn't try to emulate Dark Knight so much.
Really?
And I even saw a thing online saying
okay.
I even saw a thing
I
online
get
saying
you.
it was inspired by Dark Knight.
I
and
know where
did a
you're
lot of
going
things
with that.
because of the Dark Knight.
I'll give you that.
So you'll understand when you see it.
I'd forgotten about that. You're right.
But other than that, it was a really enjoyable film. There's a lot of stuff I wish I could mention because as a small Bond fan, there were a couple of things that were established that I was like, oh, I get that.
Oh, good.
Including, I know you didn't appreciate it that much, but the GoldenEye reference. You said something in that scene with Q that it could have been something else.
Oh, yeah, it should have
But
been.
they went with the GoldenEye reference.
Yeah,
I like the GoldenEye reference.
it was all right. Should have been bigger.
For the equipment he got, it would it was almost poking fun at GoldenEye.
It was.
But I still chuckled at it. And I like the new Q.
I do like the new Q, and I liked the. I really liked the way it was shot.
Oh, the cinematography is fantastic.
The scene
in
with
it.
them in front of that video wall up in the skyscraper.
I didn't quite understand the reason for that entire room. It looked really cool. But why there was a bunch of glass doors, I don't understand.
I think it's just an unfinished high rise, maybe. I don't know.
That was another kind of Dark Knight feel part to it.
But still, it looked cool.
Yeah,
that's
it did look
that's
cool.
why the room was there, so that we could have this fight sequence staged in that room, and it would look cool.
Yeah, I'd watch it again. It's a pretty big boast for.
Oh, that's high praise, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go so far to own it, but I'd watch it again.
Very good.
I'm gonna own it.
I wouldn't turn
I'll
the
own it.
channel
I
if
haven't
I
seen
came
it yet.
across
I
it
know
on
I'll own
cable.
it.
You what?
I wouldn't turn the channel if I came across it on cable.
Oh, well, that's...
I don't have cable, so I won't come across it. But I wouldn't turn the channel. I'd recommend it to people. Even if they're not a big Bond fan, I'd recommend it. Because it's just a good, solid story.
He liked it better than Meet the Robinsons.
I did like it better than Meet the Robinsons. Although
We'll
it
get
doesn't
there.
feel like a Bond
We'll
film.
get there.
It's part of it. I don't think what I go into expecting a Bond film, it doesn't feel like that because of the villain's motivations. That's all I'm going to say. Other than that, it was a pretty low-key weekend. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gashed my finger open today.
How'd you do that?
I almost needed stitches.
My ear's better, by the way.
Oh, good.
I,
Can you hear out of it now?
I can. I can it's completely back to normal. I went to straight hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
That solves it. No
yeah,
problem.
I hadn't thought of that.
But here's how bad it was.
Hydrochloric acid.
if I start getting ear infections, that's what I'll do. Is I'll put hydrogen.
I just poured it
peroxide
straight in my ear.
Yeah.
Sat there for 20 minutes watching West Wing. Took two times, 2 nights in a row
Oh, cool.
to get it clear. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
So, but it's all better now.
I made it look like I gashed my finger open today, but that's just because it was spray painting Mel's. I still got paint on me. Mel's cosplay.
It looks good. We got a sneak peek of it tonight. so-
Hopefully.
Yes.
Knock on wood. It'll still look
No, we
good.
got a sneak peek. It wasn't hopeful. We got it.
No, I'm a sneak peek. You got the sneak peek. Hopefully it'll still look good after we're
There you
done.
go.
After we're done breaking it back down and reassembling it in L.A.
Putting it in the suitcase and getting it.
We have yet to determine how well this costume travels. So
It's got to travel better than America.
I'm still trying to figure
You'd
out a
have
way
to do
around
car.
that. You'd have
It would
to
have
do
to be a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to ship it.
Well, shall we move on to news?
Caitlin and I saw Life of Pi.
How was Life of Pi?
It's pretty good. It's not an Oscar winner,
I
but
saw
it's
that.
good.
Caitlin
We were
watched
tempted
it
to go
with
see
you?
that. It was
It's PG.
It's at the cheap theater now.
It's cute. It
We're
really
probably
is.
going to go see it next weekend.
It's
'cause it's on our list.
it's one of those movies that you watch and you really enjoy it, and then at the end, it's kind of Inception-ish. You're meant to kind of draw your own conclusion. So,
Oh, I always like those movies.
except for I drew one conclusion and Caitlin chose to draw another
That's
one.
what I love about these movies is that you get to have a lively debate
Yeah, but
afterwards.
my conclusion's right.
Did you see that it won Best Visual Effects BAFTAs
That doesn't surprise me.
over Avengers
Yeah,
and
it
others?
doesn't, it doesn't surprise me. I mean,
Is that good?
the thing with the Avengers is
And Skyfall won some big BAFTA award too.
it won Best British Film.
Yeah.
Best British accomplishment in a film. Life of Pi makes sense because the Avengers is a lot of the same, while visually cool, it's a lot of the same things you see in science fiction. I mean, it's the same uses of
I guess I could see that.
visual.
I'd say that more so for the other ones nominated in the category.
Well, maybe so. But Life of Pi, because they meld the CGI and the real animals so seamlessly, it's.
Oh, okay.
I think it was well deserved.
I can see that.
Yeah, the BAFTAs were announced today. I forgot about that.
They weren't
Is it me or is
Jumanji
the
monkeys.
No, they were not Jumanji monkeys. That's for sure.
That's a dead horse I don't mind whipping every now and then.
Is it me or is it the
horrible.
BAFTAs and the Grammys really far behind on the times?
No, this is usually about right.
No, I mean in the nominations. Shouldn't the Muppets been in last BAFTAs?
No, because things opened in the UK later, and because it
Oh,
opened here
okay.
in November, it probably opened in
Okay.
January.
I can see
and-
that. It doesn't explain why the Muppets were nominated for Grammys this year.
Original songs.
Same,
That would have been last year.
No, but same thing.
the Grammys.
Theirs bleeds over. They've got the Grammys are a
So you got a 2-year window when you can be nominated
it's not
for
really
a Grammy?
2 years because like things that
There
things
was stuff released in 2011 that
Well-
was nominated and won tonight.
That's what I'm saying, though. Is things that theirs is 2011 is a little far away, but there's some like
Fun.
11 and 12 bleed over, 12 and 13 bleed over, 13 and 14 bleed over. That's
I
my
understand
point,
that,
so.
but Muppets came out in 11.
Yeah. In
Fun's album, several albums came out in 11, and they're nominated this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
But
These
it's 11.
these would have been
It's,
the so let's say their nomination process starts in like September of 11 and goes to September of 2012, and then they do the award ceremony in the following year. But so like next year it would be
And
everything.
they need to
from
move their
here
award
to here.
ceremony up because it
Well-
makes them look really dated. It does.
That might be the fix is to back that awards up.
A band
yeah.
could be nominated for an album, and their new album could already be out.
We won a
That's
Grammy
true.
for something
Oh,
we
that's
did
certainly
2
true.
years ago.
Yeah,
I think that's certainly true.
they need to adjust.
But it's
They need
technically
to
not 2 years ago. It's a year and a few months.
Yes,
so.
but it looks, when
'Cause
you
it is
look at
still
it,
only
it's,
February.
oh, look, we have already got a new album out. We're
Yeah.
getting recognized for the first album.
But they don't normally do that.
They don't,
They usually
but it
wait
could.
3 or 4 years before they release another album. So
It could. I'm just saying. Depending on the band. Some do yearly albums.
Yeah, back in my day, we had new albums every year.
back in your day,
So
you
you
had
used
new
to do
albums.
Huey
every
Lewis
year.
and the News, man. There was an album in 84, 85, 86, 87, and 88.
I don't think that's true. But
It, MDBA, Huey Lewis.
I don't think that's going to be on
Not an
MDB.
Pull this up.
Wiki?
Sport. Well, and they had 2 albums.
Sports.
They had 2 albums in 85 because they had Sports and the Back to the Future soundtrack.
that didn't count.
Yeah, it does.
No, because a lot of people do that. And Back to the Future is not just
Soundtracks
theirs.
don't count.
Yeah, soundtracks don't count.
And then, what was the next one? 4. And then Small World. And then the one before that would have been...
Let's see. Huey Lewis and the News discography.
Sports was 83. 4 was 86. Small World was 88. Hard at Play was 91.
that one was late.
4 Chords. See, but here's the point.
82, 83,
I granted,
86,
picture
88.
this was an 82 and Sports was 83, but those were the only 2. And so you had Huey Lewis and the News in 80, and then 2 years later in 82 was Picture This. 1 year later was Sports in 83. And then they waited to do 4. They waited 3 years for 4. Another 2 years for Small World. And then, like 5 years for... No, 3... No, it was only 3 years for Hard at Play. 3 years. So, once again, this is why I never can believe anything that Sean says.
I'm telling you.
Regardless, it just seems like...
I listen to these albums.
The award shows. No, the award shows.
No, the award shows.
I listen to these albums in 84, 85, 86, 87. So I'm right.
Oh, my. Look it up. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else have anything that they want to talk about they did this week?
I don't think so. Pretty low key.
Yeah.
Tried a new recipe. That was about it.
Oh, what'd you try?
San Francisco pork chops.
What's so unique about San Francisco pork chops?
I don't know how pork chops are normally cooked because I don't want to eat them. But these are brown, and then they're simmered in a sauce that consists of either broth or sherry.
You went with sherry, right?
I went with broth, actually, just money reasons.
Sure.
I had bouillon cubes. I can just make broth.
You mean you don't keep a bottle of sherry?
Oh, you didn't even go with stock. You went.
No,
with,
I went with
you and
broth.
you on. Yes.
Soy sauce, garlic, crushed red pepper.
That is not how you make pork chops. But that sounds delicious.
That's
not normal.
It has almost an Asian style to it. And it's really good. My mom
delicious.
used to make it when I was younger, and so I got the recipe from her, and this is the first time I actually made it. And it turned out really good.
There's such a huge Asian culture in St. Louis, too. So
San Francisco.
Oh, well, there is one. I thought you said St. Louis.
San Francisco.
Well, there probably is in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yeah.
So maybe it does have...
So that turned out, and that will be in our probably our rotation of recipes to make.
We're having pork chops every week from here on
every week. Well, we did have chicken tetrazzini last week and this week. But
I like chicken tetrazzini, too.
That's because we had leftover chicken.
That sounds really good.
You put mushrooms in yours?
In my tetrazzini?
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't.
Oh,
do you put peas in yours?
Yes, sometimes. But
I
don't like peas.
My recipe doesn't call for peas.
I don't like peas, so sometimes I'll omit the peas. But our recipe calls for peas. So.
My recipe doesn't call for peas. It calls for mushrooms. We don't put the mushrooms in. I'm just not a mushroom fan. And growing up eating this dish,
mushrooms are the food of the gods.
Since I was way tall, really small, and we never had mushrooms in it. So my favorite part though is the Parmesan cheese topping. Yeah, that's what tetrazzini's all about.
You know what that sounds like it really needs?
Mushrooms.
Apple muffins.
Apple muffins.
That's how we used to have it growing up. Tetrazzini and apple muffins.
Really?
Yeah. Homemade, too.
Why
It
not?
wasn't the Jiffy box.
Oh. It's like pork chops and applesauce.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm getting hungry now.
Enough about food. Shall we move on to news?
Let's move on to news.
Let's take a Sonic break.
More actors announced for what's the Adventures in Time and Space?
Adventures in Space and Time.
I always get it backwards.
And Adventure in Space and Time.
And Adventure in Space and Time.
Only one Adventure in Space and Time.
Only one. Last week we mentioned
They're
that
skimping on the adventures.
Claudia Grant was going to play Carol Ann Ford.
We knew that, though, right?
Yeah. No, that's what I said. Last week we mentioned that. Okay. Since then, they've announced Jamie Glover will play William Russell.
Not Danny.
Not Danny.
Not Donnie either.
Or there's another Glover.
Crispin.
Yeah, or Crispin.
Or Julian.
Or Julian. Although he's Julian's son.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gemma Powell will play Jaclyn Hill. And William Russell himself will be in it as Harry. Whoever Harry is. Who's Harry?
I don't know.
I don't remember a Harry from the story, so...
I don't know, maybe he's some sort of BBC exec.
Must be. Or they just created a character to put him in there. It's a docudrama.
Yeah, well, that's right.
It's like
they
people
can't take some poetic license.
It's like people
I don't know why they would, but
Spielberg
they could.
Exaggerated stuff or stuff isn't actual factual in Lincoln. It's not a documentary.
I have read that Lincoln is very, very accurate.
People are claiming it's not.
Yeah.
But I still say it's not a documentary.
No,
I don't expect it to
You
be
do
accurate.
take some poetic license anyway,
based
in order
on
to tell your
true
story.
events.
Yeah.
But
I think you're held to a higher standard though when you do something like Lincoln. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you do the actual. You should be
held to that standard.
You
for
do the actual vampires that he hunted. You don't
exactly.
You don't go off and make things up. You talk about the real vampires that he.
I think the people are crying foul about Lincoln are crying foul about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
See,
and they're not listening to Tim Burton. What do you think of the casting, Sean?
I think this is really cool. I'm excited. I think the not knowing who some of these people are, but just seeing the promotional photos of them.
She looks like
wow.
Barbara.
I mean, they really
what was her name?
Gemma Powell.
And I liked
that name sounds so familiar. I looked to what she was in. She doesn't look familiar.
You empathize her.
Who's writing?
She does look really familiar. I thought that too, but I didn't recognize anything she was in.
Who's writing it? Is it Gareth?
No, Mark Gatiss.
Mark Gatiss.
Writing and directing it.
He made the comment.
Is he directing it? I don't think I knew that.
I thought he was.
Oh, cool.
I could be wrong.
He made the comment that he's been trying to get this made forever. That he actually attempted to mount it for the 40th anniversary. So that's how long he's been working on this. And apparently he wanted David Bradley at that time.
Oh,
so he's known. This is my guy. This is my Hartnell. So
nice. And I think
if Bradley looks enough like Hartnell, maybe we could do a First Doctor adventure in the new series.
That'd be really cool.
I mean, we've recast the First Doctor before. Why not do it a third time? We've done it. We recast it for the 25th. Let's recast it for the 20th. Let's recast it for the 50th. Why not?
Yeah. You know what I thought was really interesting?
Did you see the picture of him?
I haven't. From the side, the really bad. Yeah,
like
I did
the close up of the eye.
It looks good.
Yeah,
it does look good.
Granted, you can do a lot of stuff with makeup. So.
Exactly.
You know what I thought was really interesting is the fact that we've been talking a lot about the maybe not. What are we going to get for the 50th anniversary of all these the multi-doctor stories and things that we want and things that we're probably going to get, and yet you're steadfast. Ain't happening. We're not getting it. Little Black Rain Cloud, Grumpy Bear, about the whole thing. And
it's not exactly true, but go ahead.
We reported, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, that all the doctors were in Australia coming up.
He's gonna clarify this. I'm glad. Go ahead.
And you said, well, they're doing that Big Finish thing.
Yeah, that was a joke. You know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's why I tweeted
because
you.
You
didn't
tweeted
reply.
that out, and you said, well, then what are they all doing in Australia? And I thought, did he take me serious?
I did
that
take
was
you
where
seriously.
They were really recording that?
They're on holiday before they return.
They do that
That's
in
why
the
they
UK.
Won't be here in April.
That has nothing to do with Big Finish.
I didn't think.
I had no idea that you took me
I totally took you seriously. Walkabout.
So you thought that when I said that they were all down in Australia recording
Why not?
Big Finish thing, you thought that I was...
I don't know where Big Finish
You're
records
in
that.
Australia recording Big Finish. Why not stick around for a few weeks? You're there on their dime. You got down there on their dime.
I imagine I'd have to get back on their dime.
Maybe they're... I don't know. They're sticking around to do other
Well, that
audio.
answers my question from earlier in the week, Keith. I saw that post and I thought...
Then he asked me, and I hadn't seen the post.
I told him, I said...
I'd seen the picture, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did he think I was serious?
I thought you were serious.
He says, I don't know. I didn't see the post.
I even Facebook stalked the picture that you shared, and you weren't listed anywhere in that Facebook stalking.
That's because when he shared it shared the post on his wall, but not in the stream on the comments on that picture.
No, he shared it on your wall, not even on his wall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was.
So I went to his first.
I didn't want to put it on our wall until... I learned that lesson. We got to have confirmation. Okay. Not going to be a rumor monger. Not going to start crazy, wild things like, oh, I don't know, Doctor Who's coming back March 30th if I don't have anything to back it up with. So.
Well, they're not in Australia because they're recording that audio.
Okay.
Oh, my.
I know why they're in Australia.
There's some sort of con.
Oh, you do?
I know why they're in Australia.
Why?
You do?
50th anniversary.
That's where they're filming it.
Multi-doctor story.
I'm okay with that.
Ayers Rock.
Do it out in the boonies where nobody would see them. And
Ayers Rock.
Okay.
You know Ayers Rock, that one they were spray painting in Hitchhiker's Guide, that big...
Oh, yeah.
It's Ayers Rock, because it's this massive rock in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
It's going to be an alien.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
alien a la Galaxy Quest?
No, it's like its
it won't
forehead.
be a rock monster?
No, it's just its forehead.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, those are the ads to the documentary.
I'm looking forward to see them in costume.
What just happened, really? For like the last 10 minutes, I think I may have zoned out. I may have had another stroke. What did we talk about?
He went on tangent.
I thought we were talking about the documentary, and then I heard something about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I kind of zoned out at that point, so I really don't know what I just said.
We were.
Well, because we were trying to figure out who Harry was. That's where it
We
started.
don't know who Harry is that William Russell's playing.
Oh, I still don't know. Okay.
Anyways, moving right along.
Moving right along. Footloose and fancy.
BBC announced some DVD releases for the year,
Yes.
which we're pretty excited about. One in particular. We've known about some of these. Ark in Space, Aztec Special Edition, Visitation, Inferno. Mind of Evil, Terror of the Zygons, which will finally get Terror of the Zygons. Finally.
The last of the
Tom
complete
Baker's
stories.
Yeah, that'll be it. Spearhead from Space on Blu-ray. The Green Death Special Edition. The Ice Warriors, which it does say in the BBC's little write-up here that in August the Ice Warriors will be released with the missing episodes using reconstructed soundtrack and images, as in the 86 release. So I think we can assume that that's probably what we're getting is the 86 VHS release like we did with Shada. So that's exciting. I mean, I think I would have liked to have seen them animate those 2 episodes because I really enjoy that. But on the flip side, I think we thought the reconstruction, the way they did it, was well done.
Yeah, when we watched
what
The
it
Ice
was.
Warriors, thanks to Dr. Phil, who sent us a VHS copy for our Ice Warriors review, we commented then that we really liked just how it's done with the audio clips and kind of the stills, that it was a really clever...
It was very clever.
making do with what you had, kind of situation.
Something else I thought was interesting, the Aztec Special Edition. I didn't realize this until I saw this Galaxy 4 reconstruction on that. I don't know how they're going to do it, if they'll do like a Marco Polo 30-minute thing, or
I bet that's what they'll do.
or if they'll do something a little longer, but that's kind of neat. I'm excited to see that.
Which both the
happening.
Aztecs and Ark in Space hit March 12th in the U.S.
There
That's
you
been
go.
confirmed. So that's how they're pairing up to get closer to release dates.
So
for the
March
UK
12th,
version.
you said?
Yes.
So that was a day after, so yeah. Oh, good.
But a month after for the Aztecs.
Oh, wait. The Visitation was March?
No, I'm sorry. A month later for Ark in Space. There are a couple
Ark in
weeks.
Space.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Couple weeks.
It's a couple weeks, because Ark in Space
Because they do
is
say
25th of February.
They do say
UK.
note these are Region 2 dates. Region 1 releases are normally a few days later.
So it seems that by releasing those 2 at the same dates, there's nothing in April on either of these schedules.
Correct.
So that's how they're going to get them
Caught
close
up.
to
I
caught
see.
up. Because I've been trying to rationalize how they're going to do this because they've announced several of these as months, like several weeks or a month later for some of these. So that's probably how they're going to do it.
The exciting thing for me, I think the most exciting of this list that came out is for September 16th, they're going to release Scream of the Shalka.
Yes.
Yay! Which it's like Sean said, we were talking pre-show, or maybe it was you, Keith, said that they're going to have to pad that out a little bit somehow. So I'd like to see what else will be included on this
was
disc.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it'll
But
be...
it was, what was it, 8 episodes, wasn't it? And they were each 26 seconds or 26 seconds, 20 minutes or something. 6 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Episodes. So I guess it's the length of one of.
I guess, yeah.
Well, more.
Actually, I don't think they were 20 minutes each. I think it ran
I
about
don't
an
remember
hour.
because it was like each part was broken up into parts.
Was the
So
whole
it threw
thing
me
now
off.
end up being an hour?
I
I thought they
think it
were
was-
longer than that.
Hold on, let me go to Wiki.
I had the same problem, though. I had problems getting the individual webisodes to play.
because
on-
each one was parts of the webisode.
Yeah.
So
It
it
was-
threw me off on how long the thing actually
It was
was.
like each webisode was 6 parts within, and there were 6 webisodes. But
Oh, well, where were you? We were watching them from the
BBC website.
from BBC website.
BBC.
It was
broke
that
them
way
up
for this and for
Shada.
Shada. Yeah.
But realistically,
It's 6 episodes long, 15 minutes each.
Oh, 15 minutes. Well, I thought
15
they were
minutes
almost
each.
20.
Okay.
I
So I guess
thought
they're
they
a
were
little
longer.
longer now.
Yeah.
But so realistically, I mean, if they even if they put it together in the same way that they do like Dreamland
an hour
or what was
The other one.
Just say it because I like the other
The
one better.
pirate-
Infinite
one with the
Quest,
pirates,
yeah. That would be kind of the same.
I just hope it's
Set up.
it's a slightly
Right.
lower price point.
Yeah, I would agree.
Unless they add a whole bunch of bonus features.
Which maybe they will. Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe they'll do a whole Richard E. Grant retrospective. how he's been connected with Doctor Who. Because, I mean, he's been in 3
what if they put
eras
Curse
of Doctor Who here.
Fatal Death along with this?
Ooh. I bet they won't. But that would be cool. That would be cool.
Curse of Fatal Death deserves its own DVD. But you know what they could pair up with it? Dimensions in Time. No, not so much.
No. Wasn't there another audio with Richard E. Grant as a Doctor?
Was he in one of the Unbound?
What?
Wasn't there another audio with Richard E. Grant? I thought there was more than just Scream the Shock.
Well, there's that Bloods of Stone, or whatever it's called, Bloods of the short story that came out in one of the Sci-Fi Radio Times or Sci-Fi Magazine or something. The one with the vampiric stones that suck your memories or feast on your memories. Oh, you've
you read it. I remember you mentioning
talked about it when we reviewed.
But that was a long time ago.
That has been a while ago.
So
I don't think there's anything else. He might be mentioned in the Infinity Doctors. I can't remember the novelization, but I don't think he's in anything else.
He played the 10th Doctor in Curse of Fatal Death, voiced an uncanonical Scream of the Shaka.
That's it.
And the Snowmen.
Yeah. Oh.
That's all.
For some reason,
that's all Richard E. Grant's been involved. But, I mean, he's been the Doctor twice.
Yeah.
Grant is one of 3 actors who have played 2 separate incarnations of the Doctor, albeit not in canonical context. The others were Sylvester McCoy, who briefly portrayed the 6th Doctor in the regeneration scene in Time and Ronnie, and John Colshaw, who played multiple Doctors on the sketch show Dead Ringers, most notably the 4th and 10th. I don't think that counts.
Yeah,
that doesn't really count.
That's a stretch, guys.
Yep.
I'm kind of tempted to pick up Spearhead from Space on Blu-ray, just to see how it looks on Blu-ray.
Me too. The only Blu-ray Doctor Who that was shot entirely on film.
Classic Doctor Who.
Well, yes. Good point. Only classic Doctor Who. Well, no, that's not true.
What else? Huh?
The movie.
So, do you think we might get a Blu-ray release?
Get a Blu-ray Doctor Who the movie?
Maybe it's available now. So
I would think they would have done that with the DVD.
Since it's a special edition.
Yeah.
Even.
Well,
they've
released Spearhead in Space twice. Why not?
That's true.
This is the 3rd release for Spearhead in Space. So. They just released Spearhead in Space last year. Special edition.
Maybe they're working on a HD upgrade on.
That would be cool. I would like to see that.
I will hold off on buying it if it comes out on Blu-ray.
As you should.
Add even more bonus features to it.
I don't know how they could, but
maybe audio commentary from Eric Roberts.
Where the bleep is Eric Roberts. Let's talk Planet Comic-Con, guys. Speaking of Eric
this
Roberts,
is exciting.
who won't be anywhere near Planet Comic-Con.
We're going to get that announcement tomorrow, and we're going to be like, oh, no! They got a Doctor Who guest. It's Eric Roberts.
I'll be on your show, but it'll cost you $100.
We've had some pretty big name guests in there.
Eric Roberts is kicking sand in my face again.
I'm trying to remember. We didn't mention Planet Comic-Con last week, so I'm trying to remember how far back our announcement goes.
Oh my gosh, let's just do the big ones because
I'm trying to remember.
There's so many little people that I don't even care about. They're Star Wars people. So.
Well, yes. I'm trying to remember.
Dude, Billy D. Williams' kid looks like Billy D. Williams. Did you see that picture?
He should play Lando in this.
He totally should
one of the
play
one-off
Lando.
Star Wars movies.
If they're going to go back and do a young Han Solo, they need to get this guy to be young Lando.
Yeah, I think so too.
They definitely need to.
Okay, but the guy's not even an actor. Nope. The reason the guy is in Star Wars is because he showed up that day on the set
to visit his dad.
And
along with a friend.
Put in the movie. All right. Anyway.
And got an action figure.
Planet Comic-Con guests. Will Wheaton. Did we talk about Will?
That's what I was trying to figure out if we talked about Will Wheaton. I don't think we did.
Don't know that we did.
Will Wheaton.
Woo!
I'm excited.
I'm jazzed.
I mean, Big Bang Theory. Will we? Oh wait,
He hasn't been in other stuff.
I
right?
can't think of anything else.
Big Bang Theory and
Big
The
Bang
Guild.
Theory.
I mean, what else is
The Stand. He was in the Stand.
Oh, yeah,
he was a
that's
kid in the Stand.
Oh, and he was a kid
wasn't
in
in The
Stand
Stand.
By Me.
I think he's, or that's what I meant. Stand by
He
me.
was not in the stand. He was in
Stand By
Stand by
Me.
me. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Not the Stand.
He was
Stand
great
by me.
in Stand By Me. I can't think of anything else he's been in.
Nothing
now.
else.
He lived in Topeka
he's
for
on
a
the
while.
Nerds.
He-
Yeah,
he
you said
used
that.
to- he used to be,
he was in
New
Topeka
Tech.
for a while.
Yeah.
He used to come into Suncoast and buy movies from me.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. He was in though.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want his autograph. He's not a very big guy.
He was in Big Bang Theory.
That's true, but he's no Sheldon Cooper.
Well,
He's playing himself on The Big Bang
Yeah, that's
Theory.
true.
Not many people could say that, aside
Well,
from
talk
all the
about
other...
conceited. You're in Stand By Me, and then you're playing yourself on Big Bang
well,
Theory.
there was one other one he was in.
I wish I could remember the name of that show.
Oh, he was on TV, too?
No, there was a show with Jennifer Grey. You probably remember this.
Yeah.
Where she played Jennifer Grey.
after she got her
Yeah,
nose job.
after the nose job thing.
Facelift.
Because everybody kept, that was the running gag. Is
Yeah.
that everybody kept saying, you don't look like
You're
Jennifer
not
Grey.
Jennifer Grey.
You're not Jennifer Grey. It was the greatest show. It was so
Oh, yeah,
funny.
he was also on...
It was only on for like
Eureka.
a season.
Yeah,
or
6
half a
episodes or
season,
something,
yeah.
I think, aired.
I don't remember what that was called. That's only been a few years back.
And, what's his name? Alan Ruck.
No.
Cameron from Ferris Bueller.
Right.
I'll watch anything he's in. I love Cameron.
I'm trying to go back
Will
and
Wheaton.
find what
Anyway,
Are you
so-
really imdeming at Will Wheaton?
So Will
I'm trying to
Wheaton-
figure out what that show is.
Oh.
So Will Wheaton,
And there was something else from his childhood that I'm trying to remember,
we
too.
talked about Peter Mayhew, right?
Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca.
We did talk about him, though, right? Which is exciting.
A couple of Buffy guests I'm a little excited about.
Did you know Peter Mayhew? I looked this up. Chewbacca has no lines in the script for Star Wars.
Right.
He ad-libs all of his stuff.
Well, it just says Chewbacca roars,
It's
Chewbacca
not
runs,
even him
Chewbacca
either,
this.
though.
Well, yeah, it's a bear,
Yeah.
but
Well, it's a bear and a lion. It's a meld of different things, but bear predominantly.
The Last Starfighter. That's the other one I was trying to think
Will
of.
Wheaton was in The Last Starfighter? Was
Yeah.
he the kid?
He was a friend. One of his friends.
really,
Yeah.
He had to have been one of his little brother's friends then, because he would have been the age he was in Stand By Me, or younger even.
Younger.
Because I was
It was 2 years younger.
young
so.
when that
yeah,
was.
I remember him from that.
you were never young, Glenn.
The Last Starfighter?
Yeah.
He had been like 5 years old.
I love The Last Starfighter.
Came out in 84. When was he born?
I bought that on Blu-ray.
72.
Oh, he's my age. You bought
I bought Last Starfighter on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray? Really? Can I borrow it?
Yeah.
Actually, I should just go buy it.
Oh,
I
and
like
Toy
that.
Story.
So good.
Soldiers.
Oh yeah, he was in Toy Soldiers.
I knew he was in Toy Story Soldiers. I did know
I
that.
forgot about that one. That's a good movie.
That's on Netflix.
Secret in Them.
Yeah, way back in 82.
Who was in Secret in Them?
Hold on, I gotta
Must have
go
been a voice. Probably one of the kids. He'd have been 10.
Martin.
He's the mice.
Martin.
No, yes,
He's the mice?
he's one of the mice. Isn't he?
Well-
Which one was Martin?
There were several.
As
There were
opposed
several
to
mice.
as opposed to the owl
Oh,
or the
I got it.
bird
The
or
raven
the,
or the- okay, I got you.
There were
Okay.
other animals in Secret of Nim other than mice. Some of them were rats, if you want to get technical.
Actually, they were all rats. No, they were field mice.
No, she was a mouse.
Yeah.
The rats of Nim were,
That's
were
right.
the rats. Nicodemus doing a really good Dumbledore with his big old long.
Yes, you know what? Will Wheaton has done a lot of things. But there was a TV show he was on. I don't remember what it was.
Anyway, he's going to be at Planet Comic-Con. We're excited.
The big one, I think, the big announcement is Admiral Mahdi.
Richard Lee Parmentier.
Yeah, Parmentier. That's cool.
I
For
went-
the
I was so excited. I
Best
hopped on
known.
Indiba, and I'm like, all right. He might actually have been in some Doctor Who sometime, because another
He's
admiral
British,
was.
isn't he? No, he's not. He's not British.
Ozzel
You're
was
right.
the one.
Ozzel was in
Yeah,
another.
Admiral Ozzel.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he might be in one of these.
Yeah,
Nope.
he's not even British.
He's not
That's
even
right.
British.
That's the problem. Is he's Imperial Army, not Imperial Navy.
For anybody who doesn't know this,
make a difference.
his claim to fame is he is the first character in a Star Wars movie to be force choked. Well, by anybody, but by Lord Vader. So that's his name.
He's the one who's.
If we go chronologically by release, not necessarily chronologically by
No, he
film.
was the first person in a Star Wars film to be choked, force
by
choked by
Darth Vader.
In a Star Wars film.
Well, technically, he had become Vader when he started choking Padme.
Yeah. You have to go in order.
Padme. No. He was the first one in a Star Wars film. He's the first person in a Star Wars film.
So you're not calling
not
the
the
prequels
first
a Star Wars
person, not
film.
the first character in the series to be choked. But he was the first person to
That's
ever
what
be
he was saying.
choked.
If you go chronologically,
No, yeah.
You can't call him the first person to be choked. First of all, he is a character because
No.
I'm pretty sure that David Prowse can't do that.
This is what I'm saying: is this guy played the first the person that was the first person choked us.
If you go chronologically, but in order of release,
but that's the only way that you can go because he was the first person.
if you want that definition, yes.
Padme was choked years later.
if you go timeline wise
From a certain point of view.
within the good one.
All right, Obi-Wan. No,
Shall I bust out the song?
Sean is right. If you don't go chronologically in the film,
In the universe.
yes, but he was the first person to be choked
He was.
on film.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
And did you know he was also an Octopussy?
Vader, release him. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
A U.S. aide.
James Bond connection too.
Yeah, he's a British guy playing a U.S. aide.
No, he's an
not British,
American
though. He's
guy
American.
playing a U.S. aide.
He's
We
American?
just established
Pittsburgh,
that. We've been
Pennsylvania.
sitting here talking about that.
Maybe
That's
haven't
why I
really-
was so excited. I was going to go to Imdb and find the Doctor Who thing
I
he was
got
in.
I got
Star
sidetracked by
Wars
Ozzel.
and Star Wars is that first movie that didn't have a lot of British actors in it because Irving Kershner was the one that said that he thought the British actors should be the bad guys and the American actors should be the good guys.
I'm sorry, I
The
have my feet
Empire
on
had
your
to
chair.
have British. The Empire had to have British accents.
So it wasn't until Kirshner
they
and
did
Empire
because obviously Cushing's British and they shot a lot of that in London and many of the
Pinewood
extras.
Studios
Yeah, many of
and-
the extras were British, but that was where that was the first time you noticed that Imperial officers are all British.
You know who I'd like to see come? Admiral Piet.
Which one was
There's
that?
one of these guys.
Piet's the one that survived.
Oh,
he gets rapidly
in order to
promoted.
get ranked up. Yeah,
he gets rapidly promoted throughout Empire because Vader kills pretty much everybody else on the Star Destroyer.
I
And
believe
he's still
Piet's
around.
still alive now.
He's still around
He escaped.
in Jedi.
He escaped the Death Star.
Well, no, he died when the Executor crashed into the Death Star. But
I want to believe that he escaped that.
he escaped that too.
somehow escaped that.
He somehow pulled himself up, got into a shuttle pod, and escaped before they blew the Death
I'll
Star.
buy that
too.
for $1.
That's,
He's hanging out with Scorby.
that's my.
But here's the deal. Because if you look at it, everybody in the Star Wars movies who has any minor failing dies horribly. Vader's just on a tear from Empire on. He is angry. And so he's
well, you
killing,
start counting the Force chokes in Empire.
he's killing these guys off left and right. And yet Piet...
Because there's one where in A New Hope where he doesn't actually force choke them.
Oh, yeah. He
No, he's
bottles
actually,
that guy.
physically holding
holding Captain Antilles by the.
But realistically, Piet is responsible. The minute he gets promoted, he should now be the next in line to die, and doesn't. Mm-hmm. I think that's very telling. It's like, are you like dating his sister or something? Why are you not? Okay, there's something going on there. I really want to know what that story is.
He only had a brother.
We
was a stepbrother.
We don't know that.
He was a stepbrother.
No, we don't know that.
What do you mean we don't know that?
We don't know that for sure.
Sure we do.
If the midichlorians can conspire to create life on their own, why couldn't they have done it a second time?
Oh, so we could have a half sister somewhere from another mother.
No, same mom.
Pretty sure Shmi never gave birth again.
We don't know that.
It's true. We don't.
true,
There's
we
no
don't.
evidence
She
that
did.
shows
She did
it.
marry. She did marry Klieg.
I know, but there were no little babies running around there.
Yeah,
so.
at,
Not
at,
that we
at
saw.
her death scene.
Not that we saw. Right?
Not that we
They went
saw.
tucked away.
The Tusken Raiders. Maybe it's a
They
whole
were in
Tarzan
bed.
thing. The Tusken Raiders nabbed her and then found out she was pregnant, and they've been raising this baby, and that's why she's going to be the next evil thing. Is because she's very upset, and she's been out raised in the wilderness by Tusken Raiders for 18 years.
You should write a story. You could write the next movie.
JJ, call me. We'll do lunch. Okay. Who else is going to be at Planet Comic Con? We've
Is there
kind of
anyone else that I
tangent.
mentioned?
George Takei.
Oh my!
Oh my.
Sulu.
Thanks for clearing that.
I
Wait.
did that.
Wait. He's in Star Wars.
John Chu's going to
No.
be there?
Oh. Sulu's not in Star Wars.
Sulu's not in Star Wars. Well, yeah, actually, he is in
Star
Wars.
Trek.
No, he is in Star Wars. They got that really cheap Sulu knockoff to fly the
that's
Millennium
right.
Falcon. What was his name? That guy.
Nine Num.
Nine.
No, he's in Star Trek.
No, Nine Num is not in Star Trek.
Wait, no, it's George Takei's in Star Trek.
George Takei's in Star Trek.
Yeah.
They only got one Star Trek guest. That's kind of lame.
Well, you can get who you can get.
Yeah, but it's George Takei.
It is George.
I mean,
George
come on.
Takei. Now I'm kicking myself that I didn't have you guys get Koenig for me over.
He'll be back. He was at PlanetCon a couple of years ago.
It's been more years than I've been there because I haven't seen him.
No, he was there I think the same year Lou Ferrigno was there. The first time.
No, he wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
Anyway.
Look it up. I'll be right again. 3 for 3.
I don't know how to look up Planet Comic-Con past guests.
Also, speaking of Lou Ferrigno's coming back.
Yeah,
I don't care about
I don't care either.
Yeah, me neither.
He's kind of a...
He's almost one. He's kind of like one step below Eric Roberts.
Yes, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Adam Baldwin. I think we've mentioned him.
We have mentioned Adam Baldwin. We've mentioned a lot of this.
And then the big one.
Nicholas Brendan.
Who's that?
Nicholas Brendan. You don't know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
Xander from Buffy.
See, I've never watched it.
Who's the big one?
That really hot chick from Stargate Universe.
You're wrong definition of big one.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know her name. That really hot chick. Does that matter?
He hasn't even watched Stargate Universe.
Not yet. There can't be a lot of acting going on that show. Just on the pictures I've seen.
All right.
Well, there's guests at other cons we should probably talk about too.
There are other cons?
Oh, wait. There's 2 more guests I want to mention for Planet Comic-Con.
Okay.
Because they're Who related.
Is it Clay 2 and Lingamorian Guard?
No.
Billy D's kid's going to be there.
Josh Adams.
Is he Billy D. Jr.? Or does he have a name?
No,
he's Corey D. Williams.
Corey D. Williams. That's what it is. I'm going to call him Billy D. Jr. Billy D. Jr.
Have a Colt 45.
Have a Colt 46.
Interesting story. You came about due to a case of Colt 45.
Josh Adams, who does some IDW Doctor Who work, and Ben Templesmith, who does some Doctor Who IDW work.
So Sean can go up and complain to him about the artwork. So
Ben Templesmith did the cover for the Forgotten, actually, a comic we've reviewed.
Oh yeah. Well, Glenn reviewed it. I still haven't read it, but
Well, okay, yeah, it's true.
you and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I own that one now. I think.
Ooh, you should get it autographed.
I think. Maybe I don't.
Did you just say, ooh?
Ooh, squee.
Well, I should look for a first edition at Comic-Con. Or at,
I went through all of these comic
California.
guests.
IDW is going to be there.
yeah,
They'll have a
I
booth.
should look.
I went through all of the comic guests at Planet Comic-Con. Don't own a single of any other comics, so I have to go buy something to get it autographed.
And they sign for free. So.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a comic autograph yet, other than the ones I got for you at Contagion.
Yeah, I'm still kicking myself over those.
So
I mean, I love the fact that you got it for me. I wish I could have been there. Larry Hama. I mean, God, the guy wrote
another big con that we're going to
Forever.
try to get to this year.
Chicago
is
TARDIS.
Woo! Who's coming to Chicago TARDIS?
The one and only Colin Baker.
Sixy?
And
That's what I call him.
Terry
Sexy?
Malloy.
Sixy.
Oh, 60.
Sixty.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's a play on sexy.
Okay. All right.
Sixy.
So there
Sawbones Tex.
will be 2 instances this year that you can get Colin Baker's autograph in the U.S.
The other one is in
Maine,
Georgia.
Timegate.
Timegate.
Atlanta.
I believe it's
Well, and they, Chicago TARDIS commented this is the first time that they've had both. First of all, it's the first time Colin's been back to Chicago TARDIS
since like 2003.
Since like 2003. It's been a really long time since he's been there. I thought he was a more frequent guest there, but apparently not. And this is the first time they've had both Colin and Nicola Bryant at the same time. So you get both Six and Perry, which is
That'll
going to
be
be cool. And then also, I was excited.
Oh, it's been 5 years since his last visit.
That's
so
forever
long.
in
That's
con
so
terms.
long. Yeah.
And then
Don't encourage him.
it is.
Go ahead.
Con years are like 15 human years.
Good.
And then Terry Malloy, which I was excited about that one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now has he
Has he been Davros for all the classic series, or is it just certain?
No.
He was
It's just 5th, 6th, and 7th.
He was not. Yeah, well,
He was not Genesis.
He was not Genesis,
Right.
but was he for Destiny? I
No,
don't
he
remember.
was not in Destiny.
But it was not the same guy from Genesis
Correct.
that was.
That's
So there have been technically 3 different Davroses
Yeah.
Classic.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
That,
So
But
4
now,
completely
because, Terry didn't come along until 5. He was the R's. He was
yeah,
all of the R's.
all the R's.
Yeah.
Has Terry done Big Finish work? Because I know there's a couple of Davros stories.
That's a good question.
in
That
the
I don't
audio,
know.
but I'm not sure who
That
voices
I don't
it.
know. That I don't know.
Somebody should look that up because that would be kind of cool. I was excited to hear that. I feel kind of bad that we don't intentionally neglect Chicago TARDIS.
Correct.
Just with all of our galley talk, it just happens to be that we're actually going to galley this year, and as of yet, we've yet to be able to schedule a trip down to Chicago TARDIS, even though it's a lot closer.
It's just... Oh,
It's Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah.
I can blow off Valentine's Day. Thanksgiving's kind of tough. But
Is it when's Thanksgiving this year?
I don't know. Look at Chicago TARDIS's website.
All right, here we go.
It's the 28th.
Oh,
Ter-
no,
Terry-
I think it's the next weekend.
Terry Malloy was in Resurrection of the Daleks, Revelation of the Daleks, and Remembrance of the Daleks. He was also in Attack of the Cybermen as an undercover policeman named Russell.
Ooh.
Malloy also reprised his role as Davros in the Big Finish productions of Davros, The Juggernauts, Terra Firma, Masters of War, The Davros Mission, and the 4-part miniseries I, Davros. He also played Davros in the 2005 stage production of The Trial of Davros.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so
So he's Davros.
he is Davros
at this point.
Although
yeah.
he wasn't Davros in the new series for some
Why
reason.
wouldn't they invite him back? It's not like he's not going to be
I
buried
mean, he
under
was
makeup.
doing the stage
No.
production.
He's clearly still alive because he's going to be at Chicago TARDIS.
It is the 28th.
Told you.
But
I
it's
was
still
looking at
Thanksgiving
Fridays.
weekend.
Yeah. That's what he was just looking up, is when Thanksgiving weekend was.
It's
I
weird.
said,
Remember, we talked about that a few weeks ago, how it was late, like nearly December before
Yeah, it's
Thanksgiving
28th,
this year.
which
So.
this year, Thanksgiving, or last year, Thanksgiving was earlier than normal.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it throws me off.
maybe that means
Pick a
we'll get
date
a
and
shorter
choose it.
Christmas season.
That will mean that.
Yeah, it will.
Yay.
Less than a month.
Yeah, it will be.
Or they'll just start doing, they'll just completely
Oh,
ignore
don't give me any ideas. Don't shush.
They'll start playing Christmas music 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
I hate you.
Actually, they'll start playing Christmas music right after Halloween. But.
It's true.
I really hate you.
Anybody else at Chicago TARDIS that we're excited about?
Oh, we're excited about.
We've already announced the other
Fraser
companions.
Hines and
Well,
Nicole
all the
Bryan.
usual.
All the usual.
Usual fare.
But hell, 60.
And there have been a couple of new announcements at Gallifrey.
Yes.
which they're not big, but they're interesting.
The girl who plays Ronnie in Sarah Jane Adventures.
What's her name?
I can't pronounce it.
She's no Maria.
You don't have... What?
I can't pronounce it.
For real?
I don't. I know I'm going to butcher it because I can't pronounce names.
Ronnie Chandra. That's her last name.
That's,
Yeah, Ronnie
that's the
Chandra.
character. Let me find it again.
It's like Mohinder, isn't it?
Anjali Mohindra.
There you go. I
Mohindra.
think you did fine. Good job, Keith.
I'm sorry, Anjali. Anjali? Yeah. And, John Noble. Why exactly? I'm
Who's
not sure.
John Noble?
He plays Walter on Fringe.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Just because he's in L.A.
Yeah.
He is. And,
And
Fringe is...
it's-
Well, I
it's-
mean, like,
it's a sci-fi.
Ashley Eckstein's going to be there. She's the voice of Ahsoka Tano on
Yeah.
Clone Wars. So, I mean, it's not all Doctor Who.
I noticed in the dealer's room they had...
Not to mention, Fringe just finished its...
And he's there
Series,
as part of some
so-
charity.
Yeah, so...
I noticed that Virginia Hay Couture is listed in the dealer's room. I assume that means Virginia Hay is going to be there. But maybe not. She wasn't listed among the guests. But we got her autograph last year. So
Who's that?
Virginia Hay, she was Zahn, the blue chick.
Oh,
the
right,
first
right.
blue chick on Farscape.
That's right.
Not the second. The bald blue chick.
Right.
And they also announced Mark Davis, who played the trickster in Sarah Jane
Yes.
Adventures.
I liked
masks.
the trickster.
More masks.
More masks.
Very cool. Well, so if
Two
one
of
is,
us are going to
if
Gallifrey
one is
this year.
headed to Gallifrey, and they want a few pointers, they might look up somebody that's actually been to Gallifrey before.
Who would
And
that be?
Amongst us, Sean and Mel went last year, so Sean's going to give us a little, some tips tips and hints for those of us going to Gallifrey this year.
We promised you a primer. So now, at this point, if you don't already have your ticket, sorry, this is not going to do you much good. If you don't have your airfare,
you're out of luck there, unless you're going to spend $1,000 for a ticket.
One of the things I said last time is stay where you play, and make sure you get tickets to stay at the Marriott. Well, if you don't have that either,
you're going to stay
far too late because you're staying somewhere else.
We're hoping I can get a hide a bed. So.
Yes. This is that reminds me. I checked on. This is the weird thing. I went and they sent me my confirmation and said, does everything look correct? And I went and said, hey, can we get this changed? And it came back. Even though up here it says your room will either have a king or 2 doubles, whatever it is. I said, well, I'll change it to this. And then I got a reply back that said 2 doubles not available in this hotel. And it's like,
and that means they're all sold out.
Yeah, that's probably what it means. Is they're all out of them.
You offered here. They don't have any.
That's okay.
Yeah,
hopefully they'll have a.
But we'll have
roll a bed.
Rosalita will bring up the and a mini fridge.
It'll have wheels on it, but she'll
muscle it up there. Obviously, rule number 1 is bring friends. If you have tickets to Galley and you're looking to split some of the costs and you can squeeze some extra people into that hotel room, by all means do it. That's why I'm bringing Glenn. Plan to buy food, which is kind of one that everybody overlooks. Mel and I, we always try and make our trips a little bit cheaper by we'll get a thing of peanut butter and jelly and we'll eat in the room and we'll do the. Yeah, it never pans out that way. It's not going to happen. It's just not. You can skimp on your meals a little bit from the standpoint that, well, if you eat breakfast in the morning and then run con all day and then eat something at the end of the night, you can do that one and not break for lunch. And realistically, when the con's going on and there's all this stuff to see and do and people to meet and talk to and everything, you're not really thinking of food anyway. It's not until you get to the end of the night and you go, man, I'm starving. So plan to buy food. Make sure that you've budgeted for that. Now, there are a couple of restaurants that are within walking distance to the hotel there. There's a Burger King, a Subway, Carl's Jr., some fast food stuff.
There's a Mexican restaurant nearby,
a really bad Mexican restaurant. This is about a mile down the strip there. And then there's a Denny's and some other things. But
there's a restaurant in the...
There's 3. There's a sports bar, which is Champions. And then there's kind of a moderate priced standard restaurant type, hotel restaurant. And then there's the steakhouse, which is, the menu's posted outside so that you're not surprised when you...
So you don't go sit down and then get up and walk away.
Yeah. We kind of walked around the steakhouse anytime we went through the lobby just because it was like, I'm not going anywhere near that place.
This is really good steaks, though.
Apparently. This is one of the places that I think a lot of people get tripped up at cons, whether it's local or otherwise, and that's the souvenir shopping. Because you get in the dealer's room, and you're just like, huh. I mean, it's more Doctor Who stuff than you want. Well, and like your comment about the books, you're coming back from Galley dead broke. This is one of those areas where I'd caution you, because kind of make a list in your head of things that you'd really like to try and find. Or go in with a very critical eye and look at all the stuff they have, and then go back and buy what you want. But don't just walk to a table, see something and buy it. Or walk to another table, see something and buy it. Because keep in mind, a lot of the stuff that's there, this is all officially licensed. You're not going to find a bootleg copy of Dimensions in Time at this place. Gallifrey One's very adamant about we want to support BBC's licenses and all that stuff, which, hey, I'm all for. But that means that realistically, all of this stuff is available somewhere. Either at Barnes & Noble or online, or, it's a DVD,
and
it's a book.
And potentially cheaper elsewhere.
So, if it's something exclusive that you can't get somewhere else, or if they have, let's say, the Toys R Us exclusive action figures, and we're not sure if our Toys R Us will get them, that's one that I could vouch and say, all right, that one would probably be worth getting. But if it's, a DVD, who goes to a con and drops $30 on a DVD that you could go and order, I don't know, from maybe the Traveling the Vortex Amazon store for $11.99? It just doesn't make sense. So,
wait, what's on our site for $11.99
now?
We probably already.
I think Leisure Hive was.
No, it was $15.
It was $8.99 or something. I think.
What?
It was cheap. Go look it up.
Why didn't I go buy it?
I don't know.
Look it up.
You posted it. Why did you do that? Well, Glenn looks up that.
It's not that cheap.
Another thing is to budget for your autographs. And Galley's very, very...
$8.88, best price.
$8.88. Well, best price could be used, but... Or I don't know. Is it
best price is usually used.
Okay. Used, very good.
Yeah. So they don't buy very
But
much.
new for $12.50.
$12.50.
Oh, $12.50. That's what I thought it was.
So, budget for your autographs as well. It's a little bit trickier to do it because guests kind of range all over the place. Anywhere from 15 to 25 is kind of standard. A couple of them are 30. Mark Shepard, Eric Roberts. And, so you can't necessarily plan it. But again, you're getting the photo and the autograph. Now, something that we're fairly certain has changed this year for Galley, since they're doing away with the autograph cards. Last year, you got into the main room where the certain individuals that were part of this tier were located. If you brought something with you, they signed it. Ta-da, here, you're done. If you wanted anything else, you had to purchase a photo from them, which they would then sign. So you could get two for the price of one, basically. Doesn't sound like they're doing that this year. They're still a little kind of up in the air. Galley was pretty, well, we don't actually provide you free autographs, but I don't think they really provided the free autographs last year. I think that was just kind of how it was worked into the thing. Now that they have sold out, there's 3,200 people coming. I think they're doing a lot of this to kind of streamline that autograph process and want to make sure that people know, you can still get two things autographed, but you have to purchase one of them there. And it sounds like you're going to pay for both of them. So, again, kind of keep that in mind. Also, and this may or may not apply again this year, we did our autographs on Saturday last year. Because that was the particular group of people that were going to be there that we wanted. I mean, I wanted Philip Seagal and, the TV movie, and that was the day that he was going to be there. Mm-hmm. Certain people have different days that they're signing. So pick, if you can, normally I would say you might want to try doing the autograph hunting on Friday or on Sunday, because Saturday's traditionally the big con day. But
especially if there's a lot of panels you want to sit in on.
Exactly. But this year it's sold out.
There's two of them everybody should sit on. Three of them everybody should sit on.
Which three of those, Glenn?
Evolution of the Daleks. Good Man Goes to War. And then
the one that
there was
Sylvester
another one that
McCoy's
really
on.
Wasn't that important.
The
one that Sylvester McCoy's on.
No, Trial of Time was the one that we're both on.
Right. There was another one that wasn't very important, though. But I figured people could miss.
You said Good Man Goes to War.
You already said Good Man Goes to War. You already screwed it up.
I did?
Yeah, you blew it.
Trial of the Time Lord was the one that we're both on.
Yeah. Good Man Goes to War is mine, but you already said that.
Oh.
So,
he set that up pretty perfectly,
I know.
too.
Foul ball.
Swing and a miss.
Whiff.
But since it's sold out, it's not like last year. Friday was busy. Saturday was insane. Sunday was busy. That's not going to happen this year. It's going to be insane all 3 days. So I don't think that's necessarily one that applies. But definitely try and structure your autograph time around when your panels and things that you want to see are. Don't spend your time waiting in an autograph line if you don't have to.
And that's a great thing for any con.
Yeah.
Like China Comic-Con this year, I'm going to do autographs on Sundays. Unless they're not going to be there.
Unless it's a Saturday-only guest,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think there have been many.
I don't think there is.
I think they're all weekends so far.
A comic guest that's one day.
The other thing that I would throw in with that, too, is if at all possible, and again, we're kind of, because we're doing this so late, we've kind of missed a lot of these deadlines now, but if there's something that in fact, for sure that you want to do, like get your photo taken with the TARDIS console, and you want Froggies to take that picture, sign up for it as soon as you get there, or pre-register online.
Can't pre-register anymore.
You can't pre-register for Froggies anymore for the stars. Well, they didn't have it on their website.
It wasn't
for the
on the
console,
website,
so
yeah. So
that must be something separately they're doing.
You cannot pre-register for star photographs.
Speaking of, did you hear?
Friday was the day.
Paul Salamov is bringing the 8th Doctor's TARDIS console back this year again. So it will be there, so you'll get to see that. And are you ready for this? Thanks to the magic of the 11th Doctor remote control Sonic, they went and got a phonograph player. And they're setting the whole room up. So it'll be the TARDIS console over here, and then there'll be a phonograph over here playing that record from Doctor Who the movie that they'll be able to flip from the thing. And it's like, so I'm going to hang out in that room pretty much the whole time. Also, bring cash. That's an easy thing to forget nowadays. You just swipe the card. Dealer's room is cash only. Anything you want to buy at the tables.
Autographs.
Autographs are cash only. You cannot go up to Sylvester McCoy and hand him your Visa card. It's not going to work. So those are a couple things there. A couple other ones. If you can, arrive early enough to enjoy LobbyCon, because it is kind of cool and fun. Obviously, you're going to miss out on that.
I'll miss LobbyCon, unfortunately.
But Sean might host a meetup, right?
Yeah, well,
He'll be there. So
Vortex if you're listening and you're going to be there, which I think as of right now, the only person that I know of that's confirmed is Chrissy. But we're going to be at Mel and I will be at LobbyCon. Mel's going to be hawking some ribbons because she bought ribbons. So we actually have Traveling the Vortex ribbons. You saw the picture. We actually have Traveling the Vortex ribbons. So we're all excited because she was like, "You guys need to have these." So I'm excited about it. If you can, stay till Monday morning. Don't fly outside. Of course, you're flying out Sunday.
I have to fly out Sunday.
Glenn's breaking all the rules.
Glenn's doing everything wrong.
I am.
Bring a decent camera.
The thing I'm doing right is going.
Yeah. Let's start there. And of course, with your cameras, don't do what I did last year. Make sure that you bring batteries and chargers and all those fun peripherals, cables, and whatever you think you might need. Throw it and make sure it's in the right place so that you bring it with you. That's kind of it, I think. And then do a panel.
Do a panel?
Do a panel?
Do it.
Be on a panel? Or be on a panel?
Just go to a panel. I mean,
just go sit up there at the table. Just walk right on the table. There's an empty chair and sit up there right at the table.
A lot of people go to cons and they spend all their time in the dealer's room, which, again, that's go, see what you want to see, buy what you want to buy, and then leave. Don't stay in the dealer's room, because the more time you spend in the dealer's room,
the more money you're
going to spend in the dealer's room. And they've got a bunch of other things you can spend money on at Galley. Aside from autographs and dealer's room, I mean, you could go to the art show, which Mel got a couple of pieces that were really, really cool at the art show. They've got the charity, which you can pick up some really nifty stuff in the auction, which then all goes to charity. So, I mean, there's other things that you can spend your money on there. You could go eat at the steakhouse. So, but a lot of people go and do that, or then they'll turn around and they sit kind of in the main ballroom and they watch, here's the interviews with these people. And not that that's not cool, because you will never get to see panels. These people. They're panels, but
the interviews.
Go to a panel. Go just sit in on something else that kind of interests you. The podcasters one, obviously, I did last year because, I was required. But
we told him.
The only one he had to do.
Go do that one. But, we sat in on I wish I'd caught more panels. And we did just a little bit of the one that was the Doctor Who mashups, where these people take the stuff online for the videos and make their own stuff. And it was fascinating. I wish I could have spent more time in that one. And so just, pick a couple that are interesting to you and do it. And make friends. I mean, these are 3,200 of the friendliest people you will ever encounter, mostly, except for Eric Roberts. And
luckily, he won't be there this year.
Yeah. And
I heard he's coming back to apologize.
Get a bumper. But have fun with it and relax and enjoy your trip. And bottom line, we've all seen Vacation. Things are going to go awry. There's no doubt about it. You're going to get there, and something horrible is going to happen. You're going to lose your luggage, and they're going to misplace you, and you won't be able to catch the cab from the airport, or you're going to wreck the rental car, or something is going to go wrong on your vacation. Who cares? You're on vacation. Kick back and enjoy it, and make the best of what you've got, and enjoy these time, and celebrate the fact that this is the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, and you're a Galley. That's the best thing I could say for it right now.
Cool. Well, I'm excited now.
I think that's a great primer.
I'm excited now.
I wish I were going.
I wish you were going, too.
Yeah.
We'd have so much more fun if you were coming. Because you and I could hang out and talk. Instead, I got to hang out with that one.
I can tell him all the things he's going to be wrong about. All right.
Because that's always fun.
I can't wait to sit in on his panel.
I'm going to be criticized.
I can't wait to sit in on his panel. And he'll say something, and I'll go, oh, wait a minute, that's not exactly right, Sean.
I told Will.
He better beef up.
I told Will at dinner last night, it was like, if I get you out there, would you come to this thing? And he says, what do you mean? I was like, I want you sitting in the audience on Glenn's panel so that you can Chasing Amy it. I want you to be the guy in the audience screaming, you're full of crap. And then we'll smuggle Keith in, and he'll stand next to him and go, what's a Nubian? I would, dude, you have no idea. If I had money, I'd have done it. I'd have bought him a plane ticket and a ticket to Galley just to record that moment. You guys better hope I never hit the lottery, because it'll be like Brewster's Millions. I will do the stupidest things in the world just for the sake of going, yeah, I did that.
If I get to go to Galley, I'm all for that.
What's a Nubian?
That's the line of that scene that makes me crack up the hardest.
Star Wars is full of black characters. Look at Lando Calrissian. He's a positive role model. Who said that?
All right. Well, let's move on to feedback. Sean?
Well, I told you earlier.
What?
I have no feedback song this weekend.
What? People have come to expect them. And
He's too busy packing for a Galley.
You know what I'm busy on? You saw.
yeah, we
No,
did.
the
We got to
costume,
see
yeah.
a sneak peek of the Happiness Patrol.
There was a lot of cosplay.
And it looks really good.
Thank you.
It looks really good.
There's been a lot of angst over this costume.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's been on my end, because I'm sitting there cutting things out and spray painting things and gluing things and looking like I cut my fingers open. And the whole time I'm going, my computer's sitting over there. I should be doing a song.
or homework.
No. Song.
I'm caught up.
No.
I'm current.
Song first. Priorities, Glenn.
Yeah.
Apparently not. He's caught up with his homework. He got his homework done.
Well, because I knew I was going to be missing class, so I got it in advance and cleared it all up.
So we could do the
What
song
are you
this
leaving?
weekend, but instead...
Tuesday.
You're leaving Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I have no song because I was making Mel happy.
Well, now you have something to do,
Yes,
on the
Patrol.
plane.
I'm going to try and treat it the same way I do the birthdays now for the website. Is I'm going to spend like one day and I'm going to write 4 songs. So I've got a month worth of material, and then
That's a good idea.
I'll go away, and then I'll come back and write another month worth.
All right, who's first in feedback?
Odd Duck Phil.
Who's that?
It's me.
Okay.
Either one of you.
Whichever. I have it. He's
All
not
right.
ready.
Odd Duck Phil writes, "Hey, who Peekins? Working my way through the backlog."
Wait, you didn't get a subject.
Where's the subject at? I don't have it.
Comment,
Feedback
question,
submitted?
question,
Oh, Lord,
question,
yes.
comment, question, anecdote.
Oh, okay. Hey, who
Types that
Peekins?
out.
Yeah. Working my way through the backlog and just finished 100. Belated congrats, by the way. Don't have anything really who related to comment on, but, number 1, how can anyone not love Meet the Robinsons? Seriously, the movie is fantastic. Yes, the future, quote unquote, is unrealistic, but it's keeping with the 50s envisioning of the future, a la the Jetsons.
That's fine. Set the first part in the 50s then.
Disapproving of the Robinsons over that would be like disapproving over the Hobbit because hobbits aren't real. Sorry. I just adore that movie. After 100 viewings, I've got a really big head and little arms. Still cracks me up.
That part was very funny. I'll give it that.
Number 2. How does one meh Cannonball Run 2 and defend X-Men 3 within the span of 5 minutes? While not as good as the first run, the second one still has a great cast and plays off each other brilliantly. The outtakes alone are worth the whole movie. And there's an orangutan in it. That's comic gold. X-Men 3 was not good. I'd go into more detail, but that would require me to revisit the movie in my memory, and I'm not willing to go down that rabbit hole just yet. I think that's all I have for the moment. Hope you guys have a blast at Galley. Odd harumph, Phil. P.S. Revisiting Chrissy's best Team TARDIS question. I know I'm in the minority, but I'm still a huge fan of Tin and Donna, and I think that's largely due to the chemistry Tennant and Tate have. They were brilliant together in Much Ado About Nothing. I don't know. I've said it before, and I don't see any need to bring the charts, graphs, and scenes from the episode to validate my case. But the two of them were just a lot of fun to watch.
I'll give you that.
I would agree.
I would agree.
They were a great pairing.
Now, in regards to Maying Cannonball Run 2 and defending X-Men 3, I brought some charts, graphs, and scenes from these movies that I'd like to spend the next hour going over. I've been kicked under the table, so I'm not going to. Thanks, Phil.
Yes, absolutely.
Who's
Harumph.
next? I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Harumph. Next up is Chrissy.
Chrissy,
She has 2, by the way.
did you get her PS?
I did get the
Okay,
PS.
good.
Okay. Because that came in late.
That came in after we talked about pre-shows.
As we were recording, actually.
Yeah.
Chrissy writes, do you know the way to Gallifrey? Dear Vortex
Do
Boys.
you know the way to Gallifrey? Sorry.
That is this week's feedback song. Okay, I'm done. It's
Could
not
have been a feedback
very
primer
long.
song. Gallifrey primer
Gallifrey
song.
Primer song.
Dear Vortex Boys, hope everyone is feeling better this
Turn
week.
in the Oodcast.
That's true, we are.
Which there's Still Alive Stephen Moffat song. Brilliant. The song from Portal. They redid it for Stephen Moffat singing it.
Oh, the Oodcast did?
Absolutely brilliant. Go look it up.
I'm going to have to listen to it.
Next week, we need to bring cameras because I'm going to do a whole song and dance number to make up for 2 weeks of no feedback song.
Ooh,
So we'll have video.
dance too.
We'll have video to go with it,
All right.
and jazz hands.
Ooh.
Not really. Can't back that up either. Have you seen me dance? Ever?
No.
There's a reason for that.
Maybe slow dance.
No.
I can slow dance, but that's because slow
that's
dance
because
is...
it's swaying.
Well, yeah, it's kind of rock back and forth.
I can slow dance with the best of them.
Well, all you do is you rock back and forth, and then when you really get daring, you shuffle.
You spin.
And I figured out, slow dancing, I am perfectly trained to be a Doctor Who monster now. Because this, it's very lumbering.
Yes, it is very lumbering.
Same motion.
Just need slightly bigger steps.
Slightly bigger steps, that's the only difference. Dear
We're getting
Vortex
there,
Boys,
Chrissy. We're getting there.
hope everyone is feeling better this week. I felt bad that you were all under the weather last week, but you were all amazing for soldiering? Soldiering. It's a funny word. Soldiering.
You've never heard that?
No,
Soldiering on?
I've heard it.
He's just never seen it.
I've never
spelled out.
seen it spelled out before. I didn't know that.
Soldiering on.
Soldering is how it looks, but it's soldiering. On and putting on a podcast anyway. We would have understood if you'd had to cancel, though. No, you wouldn't have.
I think you can tell by that we're feeling better by the amount of tangents this week.
Yes.
We had this make tangents last week. They were just mostly into the, I'm sick. Why am I here?
They were just shorter.
Chrissy, I feel bad that you've been under the weather this week. You've had like 19 feet of snow dumped on you in the last hour and a half. I mean, God, by the time you listen to this, you'll have to dig out your car from the snowplow again. What is that? She goes on, loved the interviews last week. I especially enjoyed the discussion with the girl who does cosplay and whose name escapes me right now. Sorry about that. That's Kiana. I love dressing up, but a lot of cosplayers put so much emphasis on authenticity that it's kind of intimidating. But I loved her advice about looking out for different pieces at thrift stores, etc. It makes me feel like I can participate in costuming without having to be a professional costumer, and I can't wait to see Mel's Happiness Patrol costume at Galley. Sounds amazing. Well, we'll wait and find out when we get there.
It looks pretty amazing, Chrissy.
Well, I have more packing to do, and I didn't get anything watched or listened to. Kind of had a couple of sick days myself, so I'll close this up. Looking forward to meeting everyone who will be at Gallifrey this weekend. Travel safe, Chrissy.
Oh, well, we hope you're feeling better, Chrissy.
She also has a PS that she sent in late, but we will read it anyway because we don't penalize people for late feedback. It says, P.S. The Alex Smith I was referring to last week is a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He used to be the starter, and he did really well for them. But then he got hurt, which is why Colin Kaepernick. That's a good name. Good British name. Colin Kaepernick. Is he British? He plays football.
Maybe, I don't know. If
I don't
That's
think
almost
so.
as good as Benedict Cumberbatch.
That is
Colin
almost.
Kaepernick.
Who, by the way, was a voice of The Simpsons tonight.
He
Was he really?
I have no idea which one he was, but he was sure enough in the credits.
One of 500 Simpsonians. Springfieldians.
Springfieldians.
Is now the starting QB. Alex played for the University of Utah, when they won the Fiesta Bowl back in 2004, so I followed his career closely, and I've really wanted him to have success somewhere. He's a great quarterback. He just needs some good supporting players. Chrissy, I have some bad news for you, girl. The Chiefs is kind of where players go to die. And
don't hope that Alex Smith gets sent to the Chiefs.
Even if he's
a good quarterback, and that's what we've been sorely lacking for many years.
Oh, yeah. I agree. We definitely need a quarterback. But you know what else we need? I don't know, an offensive line to protect our quarterback. Maybe a receiver or two for the quarterback to throw to. How about a tight end? Yeah. The list goes on.
Yeah, but let's work at them one at a time. Quarterback, and then we'll get a tight end.
Then you got to make sure the quarterback sticks around for long enough to get a tight end.
Because that worked so well when we brought Joe Montana to Kansas City.
Well, the team improved slightly that year.
Oh, yeah, we went to the playoffs. 13-3.
See?
They even put grass on the field so that he wouldn't get slammed into AstroTurf repeatedly.
See, it worked.
Hey, if the Chiefs have a more than winning than losing streak in a season, that's pretty good.
That's true.
If the majority is wins, even if it's by one, that's pretty good by Chiefs standards. I'm not a football fan.
We'd have had a better chance of getting Flacco if the Ravens had lost.
Yeah.
Because he goes franchise this year, or next year. But now they're not going to let him go.
Anyway, that's what I was talking about last week, Chrissy. Sent from my iPhone. You sheep. Didn't think I'd call you out on that, did you,
yes.
Chrissy? So, okay, just so that we make sure that we're all on the same page here. The San Francisco 49ers former quarterback Alex Smith.
He's still their quarterback.
Well, he might be up,
he was injured.
But he's currently.
He was injured, but he's still
a quarterback. He's not starting quarterback.
No, right.
Okay.
There you go.
Listens to our podcast.
And apparently lives in the UK.
That's what she's saying. Right? I just want to make sure I have this right in my head. I want to get... Okay.
All right. Next up is Brenda. She writes...
Yeah, and Huey Lewis and the News released an album every year in the 1980s.
I listened to him then.
I fully believe that Sean discovered the first Huey Lewis and the News album in 1984.
You'd be correct.
And then discovered the next one the next year, and the next one the next year.
I thought to myself, these guys are good. They do a new album every year.
All right. Brenda writes,
maybe it's not him torturing me and Gabby. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong.
I think you have been. Dear Vortex Gang, I hope this finds...
You sure you can't stay late, Glenn? You sure you have to rush off to that plane? We could be roomies for another day.
Dear Vortex Gang,
I hope this message... going to Galley, can I crash with you?
Finds everyone on the mend from your collective winter crud. I also had a relapse a couple of weeks ago of the bronchitis and sinus infection I had last November. Only this time, both infections were even worse. I was unable to talk or sing for over a week, and I'm still on antibiotics to try to get over the final stages of the illness. This stuff just won't go away.
So her illness is kind of like the Grammys, because it's from last year, but it's, we're still talking about it.
No, this would be a sinus... If it was like the Grammys, it would be a sinus infection from 2011.
Yeah. From 2011.
Yeah.
Some, not all. The bronchitis would have been from 2012.
We're not making fun of your sinus infection, your bronchitis. Well, okay, yeah, we are a little bit.
Hopefully it made you laugh. I'm glad you found the cross-reference spreadsheet of Who episodes online to be useful, and I'm happy for you to use it in whatever way you wish. So go ahead and post it, Glenn.
I can post it now.
Actually, anything that I ever send you guys or post on your Facebook page are free and open for public consumption. I'm not one to have many proprietary claims on my work, and if it's something private, I'll let you know. Otherwise, share away.
That's really awesome, because I happen to find Brenda's tax returns posted on her Facebook page. And I thought everybody should know. So,
sorry I couldn't join you this week for Friday Night Who, but I had an early call on Saturday morning, and I just couldn't stay up until 3 a.m. Such is the life for old ladies in Eastern Time. I did, however, watch The Leisure Hive, as it was actually next on my Classic Who viewing schedule.
Oh.
Serendipity again. I have to say this wasn't one of my favorites. There were some interesting plot points, the 20-minute nuclear war that left the planet poisoned, and the people sterile, their pacifism efforts, the recreation slash recreation issue.
This is important later in this email.
More on that in a bit, but the story just didn't hang together enough to keep me interested. The Fomazi were really lame, with the early shots of one clawed hand or one rolling eye, and the monster-shaped shadows on the wall got pretty old fast. That was actually one of my favorite things about the story. Wow. But I finally saw the complete aliens and their green sequin scales a la Halloween costumes. I sort of wish for the shadows again. They obviously were trying to save money with the sets, as well as there were a lot of rooms and corridors comprised of nothing but corrugated metal. With so many characters going in and out of the tachyon generator throughout the story, I was expecting some sort of fly mutation at some point, with the cries of, "Help me!" You must use the appropriate David Hedison fly voice here when you're reading this. If you tell me you don't get this reference, I'll feel really old. I didn't get it right.
What?
I know what he's talking about. No. I didn't get...
Oh, you didn't get the voice right.
I didn't get the voice right.
Yeah.
I know what she's talking about. I just didn't get the voice right. I tried.
You kind of tried.
I tried.
It wasn't as big a fail as Glenn not hitting that panel joke earlier.
Well, that's true.
Right. That's right.
And each time one of the little balls fell off the head of an aging Argolan, always in close-up shot it seemed, it just looked like a little Christmas tree losing its ornaments. I did enjoy the opening at Brighton Beach, however. I visited there once on a day similar to the one that Dr. Romana experienced, cold and overcast in July. But I still love that quirky little town. And now, about the recreation twist that I had found interesting. When Cat Stevens recorded the old hymn "Morning Has Broken" back in the...
Sing it?
I'm not gonna. I don't know that Cat Stevens songs.
Morning has broken like... Okay.
You know the Cat Stevens songs I know? Moon Shadow.
Wow, that's not that's a little obscure.
You don't know Cats in the Cradle?
That's not Cat Stevens.
Oh, it's not. Who's
Harry
that?
Chapin?
Harry Chapin. You're right. Never mind. I'll shut
Everyone thinks it is.
Because Cats in the Cradle.
That's the name of one of his albums, though, isn't it? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe Cat's Cradle.
I'm aware of.
Maybe it's Cat's Cradle. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah.
Anyways, he mispronounced that word in the last verse, saying recreation instead of recreation, which actually spelled without the hyphen, but I added it to make sure it's pronounced correctly. Because the song was a big hit, masses of people have perpetuated that mispronunciation for decades, and has always annoyed me because it changes the meaning of the song. So, all of this was just to say that I appreciate Doctor Who figuring out the difference between the two words and how it changed the meaning of what the generator did. Probably TMI, and no one else would even care, but it meant something to me.
So you're going to sing this part, right?
Go ahead, Glenn. I'm assuming that's for Morning is Broken too? I don't know the song.
Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning. Now, do I do the Cat Stevens way, or do I do the right way? Because she put
the hyphen
but
in.
he says God's recreation of the new day, which I didn't realize until today. And I read this and I went, does he really say recreation there? And I went and looked it up, and sure enough. But it's God's recreation of the new day. Forgive my singing.
I only know these 4 lines of the song, and that makes so much more sense. And you would think Recreation would make sense. I don't understand.
God's recreation of the new day.
Well, it's because recreation is not hyphenated. She's doing that so that we recognize that she's saying recreation.
I don't know. If I saw it
God's
and if I was reading it and didn't see a hyphen, I'd probably pronounce it recreation too, because that's the word.
If it was followed by God's... God doesn't recreate. He recreates.
The 3 lines before it.
On the 7th day he rested.
But he didn't recreate. He
But he-
rested.
But you don't know
but
what
he
he
could
did
have.
on the rest.
That's not rest and recreation.
And maybe God's idea of
R&R.
rest is...
That's rest and relaxation.
New R&R.
I thought R&R
Rest and
was
recreation.
resurrection, remembrance, and...
No, it's the 3 R's.
maybe God's idea of rest is...
Daleks? Wait. Sean, are you saying God is Davros?
Oh, God.
Maybe God's idea of relaxation is Daleks? Oh.
You okay there, Sean?
I think it stopped.
I knew it. God's a Doctor Who fan.
I'm done. I'm not going to try and defend the point anymore.
Twice in 2 weeks.
Football. You made me cough.
She finishes with,
Carburetor's dusty again.
I hope Sean and Glenn have a great time at Galley, and I look forward to your reports from the conference. And Keith, lots of us will be here to keep you company if you get lonely while they're gone. Brenda in Atlanta. Well, Brenda, I will be on my own for A Good Man Goes to War for Friday Night Who, so hopefully you can join us.
Well, we don't know for sure that you'll be alone, but
Well-
We've got my cable. So if there's a HDMI input on our TV, we're golden.
Ooh. I don't expect you guys to... I expect you guys to be... Well, I guess
I
that won't
expect
be
to be.
LobbyCon.
No.
I expect to
But-
be dead tired Friday
Yeah,
night. Since
I expect you both to be
I'm
there
flying out
Friday
at
night.
6 a.m. out of Kansas
There's con
City
stuff
on
going.
Friday.
Well, LobbyCon goes not
Thursday.
just Thursday; it's
Well,
every night
yeah,
after
it's
the con.
pretty much
It is
every night
every
after
night
the
after
con.
the con.
So I
That's
expect you guys to be at LobbyCon,
Excuse me.
or recording reports to send back.
Are we doing that this year?
I assumed.
I only made him do it last year because I wanted to hear how I was going.
Oh, I want to hear what's going on. I'm making you guys send reports back.
Oh, so you're going to post them for us?
I'll post them for
Oh,
us,
all right.
yeah.
Well, if he's going to edit them and post them, hey,
Got it.
yeah.
Well, not like you did a lot to edit them. You just.
But I put the opens on them and...
I'll do that.
Oh, okay.
You better get him the...
I have it still.
Oh, do you still? The file?
He's got
No,
everything.
you have the side trip file. Or they're not side trips. They're
No, the music file.
They were side trips.
The music.
Actually, they were gallery reports.
Or
gallery
gallery
reports.
reports.
But I didn't call them side trips. So
No,
he
you
doesn't
didn't call
need
them
them.
side trips. He doesn't either.
need
You're
them
right.
side
Okay.
I just got to go back and either add 2013 to Galley or figure out which the last number was. Otherwise, Galley Report 1 is going to conflict in the feed.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise,
I
it will
hadn't
go
thought
back
of
to
that.
last year.
I think I
I'm
put
think-
galley...
I'm
I think
thinking
I put
ahead.
Gallifrey.
I thought of this weeks ago,
Well,
thinking you guys were going to send
all
reports
right.
back.
Well, I am now.
Unlike God, who got to the 7th day and went,
You better clear out
Daleks.
your box, though. Your
My Dropbox is empty.
Dropbox, all right.
I'll make sure I get the other 2 files removed, too.
that's still funny.
Apparently we're recording... Well,
I
if
assumed
you
that
if you
we
were
were.
recording on Tuesday or Wednesday while you're there,
Well,
make sure you send
I
it
don't
to him,
expect
too.
Tuesday or Thursday.
Galley update. It hasn't
Thursday.
started yet.
I expect
I'm in
Thursday.
Oh! Crap!
What?
Sorry, I hit my cut finger.
Oh.
I gashed this thing. I probably should have went and got stitches tonight, and I didn't. So
Oh, yeah.
You
I'm
hit
good
on
on
you did- Okay, now, yeah, okay, stop. We have to go back to this because you said you did this earlier,
I know.
but you had a Band-Aid on it, and I just kind of figured it was
somebody
one of those
started
Glenn
talking about
things.
his ear, so I didn't.
Well, yeah, so how exactly did you cut your finger this badly then? And why aren't you at a hospital getting stitches if it's that bad?
I broke a glass in the sink yesterday, which was fine and dandy. I was very careful, picked it all out of the sink, got it even out, reached down in carefully, get it out of the garbage disposal, got it all, threw it away, no problem. Tonight, forgetting there was glass in the trash can, I went to, you know how you get the bulge in the trash can, and
And you push it
know
down.
you can get more in there, so you push down. Well, as I pushed down, I went right into that glass. And
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at your misfortune.
You're absolutely right.
But I'm laughing at your misfortune.
So I put I put it probably at a 3.5-inch gash across my knuckle, well, just above my knuckle, and it bled for hours. Not hours, but it bled for almost an hour. I could press on it, and Holly finally got one of those butterfly strips and put it on there so we could keep it closed, see if it would heal up. And
glass cuts are the worst.
Oh God, it hurts so bad, and it hurts to touch it now. And it kept breaking back. That's why I know I probably should have went and got the stitches, because it stopped bleeding, and then I'd sit there and I wouldn't do anything. I'd just barely move my finger, and then I'd have blood running down my hand again. So anyway. I wasn't looking for sympathy, but that really hurt when I hit it on the table just now.
I'm sorry that you hurt your hand. I feel bad.
No, you're absolutely right. I felt stupid when I did it, too, because it was like, why didn't I just pull that bag out of there? Any of the kids could have done the same thing. They could have totally put... Of course, my kids don't push the trash down, because they're lucky to get it in the trash. But anyway, especially if there's a mound of trash on it, they'll teeter it there on the top.
Pushing the trash down implies a level of we're not going there.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I would have had to taken the insight to actually throw something away. That's not happening. Exactly. Secondly, stacking on top is way cooler.
So anyway, that's what happened to my finger.
I'm sorry that you did that.
Well, thank you, but it's my own
You like
fault.
how I phrased that? I'm not sorry that he's hurt. I'm sorry that he did that. What was I thinking? I don't know.
I'm sorry you didn't think ahead.
We're still doing feedback.
I'm sorry you didn't think ahead.
I'm sorry you forgot there was glass in the trash can. That really sucks. That's what Sean's saying.
I'm sorry there are Daleks.
I can't dispute that.
Dude, you totally need to steal that. You're doing the evolution of the Dalek panel. You need to say, this is the deal. On the seventh day, God said, Daleks.
What does that mean? Wait, does that mean that does that mean that Davros is God, or does that mean Terry Nation is God?
In universe, both. From a certain point of view.
Okay, are we going chronologically by episode or chronologically within the time stream?
It's a valid question. Up next is Michelle.
Michelle writes, Destiny of the Doctor, 2 traveling. Huh.
2 traveling?
That's what it says, Michelle, 2 traveling.
2 traveling the Vortex.
Mine just says 2 traveling.
Oh, you don't have an mine on an actual computer. You can show the details.
Rub it in. I just thought that was kind of cool. It's like the post office knows who we are. If you just say traveling, they go, yeah, we got it. It's like Santa Claus letters come to us. It's just that cool. Hey, guys. Just writing in with some comments about Destiny of the Doctor, Hunters of Earth. First, I think that the Doctor who called into the radio station when they were in the coffee shop was most likely a later incarnation, probably 10 or 11. Secondly, there's an article in Doctor Who magazine, number 456. Someday we're going to be numberized like that. You realize that? Traveling the Vortex, 456. It's like 111. About a bunch of stuff.
Not anything like 111. Forget the 111.
It's just like 111. Article in Doctor Who magazine 456 about a bunch of stuff that is happening for the 50th anniversary, which has a section on the Destiny of the Doctor series and talks about an arc through all of them. And I think that arc might have something to do with whoever this mysterious enemy that Mr. Rook mentioned is, if that makes any sense. Looking forward to reviews, Michelle. I think it makes total sense, Michelle. I hadn't thought of that until you said that. But now that actually clarifies something.
I agree with the first part. I don't agree with the mysterious enemy that Mr. Rick's talking about, but maybe.
I got the impression that it was that last line Susan gives is the setup for the continuing.
Yes.
Well, that I agree with too.
And I think that the Doctor, well, we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I think the Doctor,
let's talk about it now.
The Doctor that radios in is a future incarnation of the Doctor. And they don't really go anywhere with it beyond that. So
not.
I think we're going to see it
exactly. It's
in
got
the
to be part of
Destiny line.
Well, maybe we should talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it.
It's next on the schedule, so
it is.
Let's do it.
Because you lost Rochambeau. Which I would have made you do if I'd known you'd hurt your finger that badly.
Oh, I did Rochambeau with this then.
Oh, well, no wonder you lost.
Yeah.
You can't Rochambeau lefty.
That's my
right hand.
Oh, it is.
And I can because I'm ambidextrous.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
You made that up.
No, I am.
I've seen you break dance.
I'm
He break dances right-handed.
I have a dominant right breakdancing leg.
This would be awesome. I'll write the music and you can dance next week.
No. It's been 30 years, 25 years since I breakdanced. I can't do that anymore.
Sure you can.
Nope.
It's like riding a bike.
No.
You better start practicing. Galley reports of breakdancing.
There is a party at Galley. Maybe I'll get out there on the dance floor.
There you go.
Do some windmills. Spin on my
There's
hand.
karaoke.
The worm.
Yeah, there's karaoke. The worm. Yeah, I could do. Actually, I think I still could do the worm.
I've
I could
never
still
been able to
that.
do the worm
I think
properly.
I could still do that. I probably couldn't get the height on it, but I could probably still do it. The Pac-Man, the moonwalk.
Why is that guy wiggling on the ground?
I could do the inchworm.
The helicopter.
Why is that guy having a seizure in the corner?
The robot. That would be appropriate at California. Hey, who's he cosplaying as?
The water sprinkler?
The Candyman.
Nah, the water sprinkler was more of an 80s move. That was...
I guess it was.
That's kind of Dalek-y, actually.
Yeah, that is kind of Dalek. Yeah.
Okay, listeners, your next assignment, should you choose to accept it, we want memes with dance moves
For various...
correlated to their corresponding Who character. So, like the water sprinkler's a Dalek, and the
Who would do
you
the
have to have a
lawnmower?
picture of somebody doing this, and then a picture of the thing. Go. Do you hear it?
So Destiny the Dalek.
No, wait.
Destiny the Dalek.
Do you hear it? There's like thousands of people rushing to their computers right now.
No, there's nobody rushing to their computers right now.
I thought it was a cool idea.
Except for Alex Smith, because he's in the off-season now. So
I hope he's not rushing. He could
No,
slip
he's
and
too
fall
busy
and hurt his
playing
throwing
football.
arm. Don't hurt your throwing arm, Alex. We need you. Come to Kansas City. We don't have anybody for you to throw to, but we need your arm.
Destiny of the Doctor, Hunters of Earth. Shoreditch, London, 1963.
Earth can be treacherous if it's only wounded. You have to make sure when you're hunting an Earth that you really nail it good, because otherwise, man, she'll turn on you. I just realized that title makes absolutely no sense. Hunters of Earth.
found it.
It's like a bad document. First we stalk our prey. We hide in the long grass over Jovian skies.
Gorgeous!
There, you see it? Off in the distance. An Earth. I bet
Now I just have an image of that prairie dog with the greatest bleep look on his face when he drops the nut.
I have this image of Galactus with a blunderbuss.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting Earth.
Oh, sorry, Big Finish. You gave us the giggles. Or this is this is Big Finish. This isn't. It is Audio Go, but it's
produced
Finish
by
production.
Big Finish.
Big Finish Productions.
For Audio Go.
You gave us the giggles.
Okay. 1963. The Beatles have beaten John Smith and the Common Men to #1, and satellites are being launched into outer space. Back down on Earth, strange goings-on are occurring. The normally placid teenagers of Coal Hill are running riot, and a master thief is stealing highly specialized equipment. Schoolgirl Susan Foreman just wants an easy life for herself and her grandfather, the mysterious doctor. She wants to be liked and accepted by Cedric and all the other pupils at Coal Hill School. But there's trouble in the streets and bomb sites around Totter's Lane. The teenagers are becoming dangerous, Their mission: to hunt down anyone different or alien. Susan's quiet life is about to spiral out of control, having inadvertently started drawing attention to herself. She finds herself drawn into a desperate situation. Suddenly, the chase is on, and she and her grandfather are now the hunted.
Oh, that's where they went with it. It didn't work.
It
Dun,
doesn't.
dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
The hunters are people.
I'm sorry, I got distracted when you were doing that. I had to look up because I never actually knew this. I didn't know if John Smith and the Common Men was an actual band or not, and I got very curious. I had to go look it up. They're
UK.
not.
No, they were.
No, they're not.
Huge in the UK.
They were not huge in the UK.
Huge. 1960.
In 1963, they were all the rage.
They were huge until they got beat out by number one for number one by the Beatles.
Yeah,
but after that,
huge.
they never recovered.
They were giant. Huge. No, of course they were.
I didn't know that. I had to look it up. And I also thought, because what stuck with me there is the whole John Smith thing has been there from the beginning. That's what triggered that. It was like,
Oh, yeah. Huh?
I didn't think of
Sure
that. John Smith in the first episode.
What do you guys-
That's where the doctor got it. John Smith and the Common Men. That makes total sense now.
No, it doesn't.
It totally
All right,
does.
so
Because he was so in tune with it.
Yeah. That's why he stole it.
What do you guys think of this story?
I liked it.
it was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable.
It's very
story.
different from what we're used to listening to.
Well,
for
that
audio
indeed.
adventures.
That's true.
Indeed.
And I, for one, had a little bit of adjustment period.
Here's the thing. I haven't listened to a lot of audiobooks, but I've listened to a few in my time. And most of the time they're read by one person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some audiobooks before where we've had a cast of people. I have never in my life heard an audiobook where it's one person doing one part and one person doing every other part. And that was my only
was a bit
complaint
bizarre.
with this.
Yeah.
Is that we had Carol Ann Ford, who did a fantastic job reading this. I absolutely enjoyed it. Who's doing all of the parts except for Cedric, who they brought. I don't understand why they felt the need to bring somebody else in to do this one part.
I guess I could see it in the fact that there's a lot of one-on-one scenes with Cedric and Susan. And so to help differentiate, it could have been very confusing if Carol Ann Ford did Cedric and Susan.
But it's
and they were
not,
talking
I
to
don't.
each
To me,
other.
it's not any more confusing because you have statements like he said, she said, Cedric said, Susan said.
See, and I noticed those early on, but as the story progressed, I
when
noticed
Cedric,
they dropped down.
No, not at all. And when Cedric and Susan were talking, they never used
Yeah.
the he said, she said.
But whenever
Cedric
Susan and the
said.
doctor were there, and she's
Well, yes.
It was always there.
It was always there.
So that's what I'm saying, though. But you could have differentiated the entire audio story that way. So
Yeah,
it
they
seems
could
strange
have.
to have one other person there playing one part to me. But that was my only complaint.
I agree with you. I thought that was very, very strange because it wasn't even a matter of Carol Ann Ford doing all the female characters and the doctor, and this guy doing all the male characters.
Right.
It was Carol Ann Ford did everybody.
Right.
She did the entire city of London, and then there was this Cedric guy.
Yeah.
It just was.
Had it been the case where they split the roles up, I don't think I'd had as much
would've
issue with it. But
And maybe he can't do William Hartnell. I don't know, but it seemed a little odd.
no, she did it, and she did it.
She did it.
Yeah,
I thought William Hart,
it was
the
very
doctor was
convincing
written
the way she wrote it.
Yeah.
Or
very
read
well,
it.
too.
Yeah. Yes, written well.
It was written well, and definitely Carol Ann Ford put on this phenomenal performance, which I was totally amazed by because I was a little leery going into it. That, I mean, she's what, 60 now, somewhere in there,
Probably.
and you know, this is set before. So it's not even Susan as we've come to eventually know Susan. It's
Yeah, this
Susan
is pre-
before
Unearthly
Unearthly Child.
and
Although I get the impression not very.
Not very long.
not very
but-
far. I can't
In fact, the
imagine
same
she
year.
would stick around much longer at Coal Hill School.
Right.
Yeah. But, in fact, this probably lends to her alien, otherworldly qualities at this point, is that she's just given up trying to fit in and she's going to stay detached. But it's not so long after that John Hill and the Common Men are no longer on the radio.
Right.
So they're still getting some airplay, obviously, despite being number 2 on the charts. But she did such a fun. I mean, she's
72.
Oh my God, really? Wow. But when she first launched into it and was like, a reading by Caroline Ford, and I'm like, you had to say your own name in the third person. That's a little weird. And she starts telling the story, and it's like, okay, that's Caroline Ford. And then she had her first line as Susan. And I went, oh my God, it's Susan.
Mm-hmm.
She just nailed it.
She did nail it. She was
even her doctor.
Yeah.
When she's doing the doctor's lines and kind of the, well, you can't, and she's kind of putting on the grumpy bear, suit. It was so well realized.
You know how Hartnell always did interjected the little
slight Yoda.
So and she would do those, and
Olga.
so that
Dark
sold
Crystal.
it for me
Yeah.
as the first Doctor when she just the mannerisms were the same and the voice and the inflection and whatnot. So.
Yeah, very, very, very well done on the performances.
Did you guys key in on the radio stuff early on too?
Key in on it? What do you mean?
Like that the radio transmissions were.
Yes,
yeah,
because
very
it seemed
first
like
scene.
every time she had her transistor radio on, it was that was what was happening.
Yeah, the very first scene in the diner where, so-and-so goes to turn the station off, and then all of a sudden everybody's acting normal again. And it's like,
Yeah, pretty obvious.
very obvious. But, I mean, not that it wasn't
It's a
enjoyable.
simple story. I am curious as to what enemy Rook and not Nigel, Rook and Cedric and whatever the henchman's name was. Maybe that was Nigel. No, the writer was Nigel. I can't remember the henchman's name. The guy that went and tore up Foreman's junkyard. Kind of wondered what they were looking for, and I don't think they made it clear. And so Michelle might be right that that's going to play in a little further down. I certainly agree with Michelle in the sense that the Doctor on the radio is clearly a future incarnation because the way that
They never go back
he
to it.
acted. And I kind of got a 10th or 11th Doctor vibe as well, even though it could have been 7 or it could have been 4. I could see it in their character as well, but it really came off as
It's a much hipper Doctor.
Exactly.
Than,
it came
than,
off as a 10th or 11th
first.
vibe.
I could almost see it as 6 too.
No.
Like, wasn't there a parts when they're back at Totter's Lane for that
Attack of the Cybermen was
Attack of the
took place
Cybermen
at Totter's
where
Lane.
he just kind of wanders off? I could almost, I in my mind kind of retconned it as, oh, he went and did that then.
Reaching.
Maybe.
He went and even 7 could have done it during Remembrance.
Yeah, I was trying to think of.
He had a lot of things he
one
had
of
to
those
do.
two. there could have been.
We thought he was just going there to look for the Hand of Omega, but he was actually going there to
He was
do
going to go
several
record
things.
this too. Yeah.
He pulled out his diary and flipped to this year and went,
Oh yeah, there's that.
I
too.
got to do that too.
Honestly, in my mind, I was trying to figure out when in televised history this could have happened, but I think it's going to happen later in the audio range of this Destiny of the Doctor story.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. Oh, you mean the Doctor
Calling.
Oh no, I don't think.
I think we're going to get some sort of reference of. Oh,
they
who
might.
are you on the phone with?
Now that you say that, they might
nobody.
reference it. I don't know if he'll actually do it.
Just call it a radio station.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe
because there isn't anything in television to justify the event.
No, but I don't think you have to have it in story for it to happen. I mean, it happened in the first title, so we know clearly it happened. Do we need an answer of which Doctor it was? No, I don't think we do.
We don't need one.
So I don't see
cool.
I don't see them having to do it, and I don't and thusly I don't think we'll have it in the story. We'll just know. We'll somehow it'll be made clear that one of the incarnations of the Doctor are dropping warnings to each of the Doctors as we go. I think that's simply all we'll find out.
So you think 2 is going to get a warning?
Mm-hmm.
Next story.
I certainly believe that
then
each
that tells
Doctor
me
will
that
have
it's
some
11
sort of.
is giving a warning to.
That's
each
what
of
I'm
the
wondering
previous.
is that 11 is.
And then all of those would tie into the last story. So
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Spoilers.
Well, with Susan's last line, since we're talking about possibility of the future, to me, more than whatever Rook said about the enemy set up, there's going to be a lot of bad stuff coming in this storyline, that they're all connected, that it's not just a bunch of original stories for each Doctor.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing what they're going to be, because there wasn't enough in this to give me an idea.
What did you think of the shorter format, that it was, an hour?
Because it was one person reading most of it and another person filling another character, I was okay with the shorter format. I kind of appreciated that fact that if it would have been much longer than this, I think it would have been just dry, and there wouldn't be enough variety just in production.
I wonder if it's because of the story that's told, or the way it's told, if that has anything to do with it. Then the reason that I asked that question is knowing that coming up on the schedule, we do have some 1 hour Big Finish. It's treated just like everything else. It's a full-blown audio adventure, but it's only an hour long. So I'll be kind of curious to get your gauge on that, especially once we do eventually get into the 8th Doctor range. But
I think it depends on the story. This story did not warrant more than an hour.
I agree.
And if there's a story that could warrant more than an hour, I will feel that it was suffered from the length.
Yeah.
I mean, just like any actual Who episode, I got to base it, the length based on the story and what's actually warranted to tell the story needed. And the 1 hour format for this was just right.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the 1 hour was just the right length for, especially the way the story is structured. Mm-hmm. I thought that was well done.
No, I agree. I think had it gone longer than that, we would have found there would have been spots where my attention would have been flagging. Mm-hmm. But kind of going into it knowing that it was an hour long kind of helped set my mind frame that this is where we're at.
Okay, I wondered this while listening to it, and I just got it confirmed by the TARDIS Wikia. The Doctor's trying to purchase components.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where is he trying to purchase the components from? According to this, Magpie Electricals.
That's right, I remember that.
Did you guys think of Idiot's Lantern 2?
No, I didn't.
Was that the name of the...
It was.
Huh.
Clever.
Yeah.
Why is it clever? Do we suppose it's the same?
It's the same
guy?
electrical place.
Well, Magpie Electronics was like an appliance store.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, he was selling TVs.
Well,
I mean, I didn't get the impression that there was any correlation between the two, but maybe. Okay, I'll give it to you.
I thought of Idiot's Lantern during that section.
Who wrote Idiot's Lantern? I wonder if
I can find out. Hold on.
I thought it was clever. I mean, even if it has, even if it has no correlation, and it's not, even if
10 years earlier.
Well, yeah,
Idiot's Lantern.
Right,
so it's kind of like that wibbly wobbly.
Right. But even if it's not so much that
Gatiss wrote Idiot's Lantern.
Okay. Robinson.
What's the name of this place? Maynard's. Magpie. Even if Magpie is like the Sears of electronic stores, just the fact that they went back and referenced it. The Doctor went back to Sears. I enjoy those little nods.
I think I'm falling
like
down
that.
on the side of coincidence. I don't think that was something that Nigel Robinson would say. Pick something out of Who. Oh, there was this guy in Idiot's Lantern. I think it's coincidental.
It's possible. I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be a lot, even 10 years before to 10 years after of 1963. There doesn't seem to be a lot of Who based in that time.
That's certainly true.
So I would think, I'm going to write a story based in 1963. I'm going to stretch out and try to find something to make fans connect.
I think that's reaching to make it work, but
it's possible.
I don't know. I kind of fall in between you. I think it's cool that it happened. I don't know that he went to that extent to plan it. I think it was kind of one of those.
But so you guys didn't think of Idiot's Lantern while listening to that section?
No, I didn't think of it at all.
No,
I did.
Not at all.
Interesting. But I don't think. It certainly wasn't a Moffat Great Intelligence reference.
No, absolutely.
As intricately as that one's planned out in the Snowman, it obviously was thought out ahead of time. Versus if you make a passing reference to a Zygon.
It clearly wasn't the same because the components thing was a setup. It was it was Rook and his gang was essentially the proprietors of Magpie.
But we don't know what happened to Magpie after Idiot's Lantern. Maybe he lost all his business because he sold demonic possessed televisions. Anything's possible.
Maybe that's the enemy they're talking
Well,
about.
Magpie himself was killed in Idiot's Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. See, so anybody, they just kept the store name. It's like Hooper's store.
That's why I think it was very coincidental. None of it connects.
You've convinced me, Keith. It was totally on purpose.
Considering the fact that now I went to the Magpie Electricals TARDIS Wikia page, and there's a screenshot of a sign of Magpie's Electricals in the Beast Below.
Oh, is there?
Really?
Apparently. So, we just uncovered the giant...
All right, now I'm a little more inclined to believe you.
Magpie is the ultimate.
Oh,
There's this Bad Wolf and Torchwood all rolled into one.
Runaway Bride, it was in,
Magpie Electrical?
when he was flicking through various websites on a mobile phone.
Huh.
So apparently it's
All
the
right,
going...
so there must be
it's the going
there must
to,
be some running joke there, then.
It's the go-to electrical company brand.
Well, kudos to you then, because you have uncovered that. That's I guess I would.
Riversong Scanner was manufactured by Magpie
Well,
Electric.
it's definitely a in joke then. Okay, I defer to your that they're connected.
Speaking of TARDIS Wiki, anybody upset over the name change?
They changed the
TARDIS Wikia? Oh, TARDIS Data Core?
It's TARDIS Data Core
name.
now.
Oh, I like that actually better.
Oh, I don't.
I like it. I've never liked Wikia or Wiki or Wikipedia.
TARDIS Wiki just...
Never been a fan.
It was TARDIS Wiki wasn't a very clever name.
So
Well, I don't think
everybody,
it was a clever
thumbs up
name
for
either.
Not like Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is awesome. TARDIS Wiki, not so much. But TARDIS Data Core is just kind of like...
Data Core makes more sense.
Yeah, but it might as well be a Starfleet
So everybody
thing, then.
gives a,
It's not even Memory Prime.
somebody gives
it's
a-
not. It's not the Gallifreyan Matrix. It's not the. I mean, there's so many other things you could have done with it. TARDIS Data Core.
Yeah, but if you skirt the idea of copyright there if you do that. And now it's just kind of a lexicon. So everybody thumbs
dislike.
up with Hunters of Earth then. First in the line.
Very enjoyable. I was really surprised that it was set before.
I was too.
I wasn't.
And not
I
a Susan
wasn't in
or
the sense-
Barbara, or not a
I wasn't
Ian or
in the
Barbara
sense.
reference.
See, that's
Yeah.
just it. I wasn't surprised because it is Susan, and all that we know from An Earthly Child on, Ian and Barbara are there with Susan. So I didn't expect them to necessarily do an Ian and Barbara story since we've just got Susan reading this. So I really kind of suspected it might be set beforehand.
I could have. I was pleasantly surprised that it was set beforehand. Don't get me wrong, but then I almost expected to have a reference.
I kept waiting
at
for a
least.
reference from Ian and Barbara. Because, I mean, we're at Coal Hill School several times.
Yes.
Surely there's going to be one scene set in Chesterton's classroom.
And then at the end,
Not a
we're
one.
like, okay, they're going to set up to Unearthly Child directly. Not at all.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that either, though, because they leave.
Wiggle room for
I
more
love,
stories.
I love leaving wiggle room because when you butt stuff up together, then you've locked yourself in. So.
Yeah.
So everybody's excited then for Shadow of Death, which will be the next one.
I really am.
And that's going to be read by Fraser Hines.
Yeah.
And somebody else.
Guest supporting
Cedric.
actor will be Evie Donnay. And then in March
Yes, they
releases Vengeance of the Stones, with the Third Doctor, and that one is read by Richard Franklin. So it's
Captain
Captain
Yates.
Yates in that one.
Oh, that's who that is. Okay.
And the rest of
I
them so
initially
far,
looked at that and was like, that's no companion
rest of them so
I
far
recognize.
to be announced, so we don't know on the others yet. Very good.
Like I said, I thought it was an enjoyable little story.
Good. Well, let's move on to the Leisure Hive.
The Leisure Hive gets its own theme song.
Everything's getting its own theme song tonight.
Just not
Except-
feedback.
Except feedback. The Doctor and
You could have wrote
Romana.
a feedback song on the fly. I know you could have.
Yeah, I did that once.
You booed it.
Just once.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? Oh, you wrote that on the fly?
I wrote that on the
You
fly.
didn't even prepare
I
that?
didn't prepare that.
Oh. Well, maybe I gave him a... Maybe I was a little hard on him then. It was the pomp and circumstance of it all.
Well, it was the story that I told you.
This is the new story.
I spent months working on that.
All right. Well, I feel bad for me. No, I don't.
I hope your finger hurts. I know I don't. That's mean. I shouldn't say that.
The Doctor and Romana decide to forego Brighton Beach and take a much-needed holiday on the pleasure planet of Argolis. Ravaged decades before by an interstellar war between the Argolan and the Fomazi. Argolis now hosts the...
Fomazi?
I had an R in there.
Fomazi. I got you.
Now hosts the Leisure Hive, an ideal retreat for tourists from all over the cosmos. But a series of suspicious accidents leads the Doctor and Romana to discover that the Hive holds dark secrets.
Dun dun dun.
Appropriate. Dun dun dun.
I don't know if I see the gushing that Dr. Phil has about this. But it was very enjoyable despite K9 running into the water and getting decommissioned through the entire story. And his head exploding and
K9, no!
Why did he... That's one thing I don't understand. That's my biggest complaint of this. Why did K9 go in the water? Why didn't he just stay at the shore and say, "Look, the ball went in the water. I can't go in the water. The water is dangerous to me. I'm smarter than this."
Because David Fisher needed to get K9 out of the story because he didn't want to write a story with K9.
It sets up an interesting problem, though, because Romana throws the ball. K9 blindly blunders out into the surf after it and blows up.
He's smarter than that.
So then she throws him up in the Doctor's lap and says, "This is your fault. You got the, whatever they were, aquatic sea defenses wired incorrectly."
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because she has that line there. And the Doctor replies, "Well, I can't get everything right all the time."
He gets a lot right.
Okay, so now, well, here's the thing. We've now set up, just on the basis of this conversation, this story doesn't work anymore. Because if K9 has automatic sea defenses and the water wouldn't hurt him, he's right to go chasing after the ball. It wouldn't bother him.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess
and Romana knows that he's okay doing it, so then why does she start screaming K9 no?
Because she
remembers as she throws the ball out into the sea.
She knows that the Doctor screwed it up.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that until it happens. She wouldn't know that until it happens.
I guess
she wouldn't know that the Doctor rewired something incorrectly until...
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Went wrong.
So either K9's right, and he's good to go chasing after the ball, but then Romana has this moment of,
she's a time lady who knows what kind of psychic powers she has.
I'm going to go back to the fact that David Fisher needed to get K9 out of the story.
Poor K9. I don't know. I agree. It kind of... It's a quick out and not a very convincing one. The special features, however, did you watch any of those after you got? This is a fantastic bit in the documentary where they talked about that. John Leeson was invited back and said it's proper K9. It's not even laryngitis K9. Right. It's real K9.
Which previous season was laryngitis K9.
Yeah. So this is his first one back, and we're going to off him this quickly in the episode. But they talked about this is also a new K9 prop that they spent £20,000. Rewiring, rebuilding, new motors, new this, new that, and we're going to be able to do K9 properly. And so then they get to Brighton Beach, and it's nothing but rocks. So they've got that very obvious wire that they're dragging him across the beach with, and they kind of went, "Oh, it's going to be one of those seasons."
20,000 pounds.
And then the story goes downhill. I'm kidding. I really found this story fairly enjoyable. The ideas in it, I thought were great. The monster in the shadow, as I dubbed it during Friday Night Who, Murka Jr.
I didn't have a problem with the shadows on the wall. I thought that...
I liked that. I was impressed.
I thought it was a clever way to do that.
Yeah.
Especially when you see what it really is, and it's a big sequinny.
And for as long as it was a shadow on the wall.
Yeah.
I was impressed at how long they kept it in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And it's really... This is a story that does a lot of pulling the rug out from underneath you. Because we've got the monster, we've got the shadow on the wall. And then we get the reveal of the monster, and it's laughable. It's, a sequined, gigantic iguana thing.
Which I was okay with the design of it.
Yeah, I didn't care. But then It's not even a monster.
It's
a good guy.
It's a diplomat, and it's going to take the voice box and put it in, and now all of a sudden it talks like this.
Now I can talk.
And you just,
I have the voice of the humanoid I look like.
I got to fall down on the side of full props that it didn't come out with a, and it wasn't, it wasn't the Slovene Gorn hissy, voice thing. It was just a guy, and hey, I can talk. I mean, I mentioned this to
voiced by Robert Goulet.
Dude, the guy, the one diplomat. Now that you say that, that's totally who that guy looked like.
Yeah.
I mentioned this to Keith. It was like now, or maybe it was you that I don't know. I mentioned to somebody that I'd watched Leisure Hive with one of the other groups when they did it for their group.
Dr. Hubar,
possibly Dr. Hubar. I'm not sure, but within the last 6 months, I've seen Leisure Hive.
And I did too, ironically, but not with
but not at the same
Hubar,
time.
And it must have been another group.
So.
TARDIS tweets. Oh, that's who I did it with. It was
you
TARDIS
did it with TARDIS tweets. Yeah. I must have done it with Dr. Hubar.
That's
then.
right.
So, but here's the weird thing about Leisure Hive is I've seen Leisure Hive before. I've seen it recently, within the last 6 months, and I saw it this week. Leisure Hive is one of those that it's actually a pretty decent little story, and it's got some very cool things going on, I think, directing-wise, which is a shame that they went so far over budget they didn't invite the director back, because I liked the way this one was shot.
There were a lot of really cool pans and long shots. And
he did a lot of things differently that you don't normally see in the kind of,
I would agree.
Daytime television life of Doctor Who.
Granted, some of these things could have cut it down to a 3 minutes or 3 episode story.
But so it's got a lot of things going for it. But there's something about this story that ultimately is forgettable. I don't know why, but watching it for Dr. Hubar, and I'm watching it and I'm going, oh, that was kind of cool. Oh, yeah, that was nifty. Okay, yeah, this is kind of a cool little story. And literally an hour later, everything emptied itself out of my head. This is for whatever reason, it's just not a memorable story for me, and it doesn't have any of the the whatever they were that were scary from Nightmare of Eden, the mandrels.
Yes,
those I remember, even though I don't remember anything else about the story. I remember the mandrels because they scared me. Or it doesn't have the story of Genesis of the Daleks, where it's like, yes, you remember every moment of that because it's so good. It's just kind of a middle of the range, but for whatever reason, gone. And so we're preparing for this, and we're getting ready to sit down for Friday Night Who, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember anything that happens in this story. I don't remember who the bad guy is. I don't remember what I remember the Hive. I remember that they go to the Leisure Hive, and that's it. And I remember Brighton Beach. Those are the only things I remember. So once again, I was kind of rediscovering. I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, that's a nifty part. Why don't I like this story better? Because I should. We'll talk about it tonight. I will forget everything by tomorrow. I don't know what it is. And it's a shame, because I really think there are some very cool nuggets of stuff here. I
think one of the coolest parts for me...
Where is the Leisure on this planet? Where is the Leisure in this story?
Anti-gravity squash.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about it, but let's see some of this stuff.
That's the thing. It's a misdirection.
Well,
the recreation and recreation.
Yes,
that's the whole idea behind this hive, is it's a misdirection.
But the problem is people are coming here, and they're doing something. So,
well, that's just it. See,
I saw evidence of a crowd, but I didn't see them doing anything.
Well, that's true. That's what I'm saying.
They were learning about this. Apparently, they're not impressed, and they move on.
Well, that's true too.
Well, that was a dry thing. No, the people come, and the people are having fun. Our story's not about the people.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You don't get to see any of the tour stuff. And I tweeted out on Friday, and it was like, oh, so this is kind of like Midnight. This is the planet Midnight before Midnight was popular. Because it's radioactive outside, and we've got a bunch of fun things to just stay inside to do them. So apparently leisure planets are all the rage as we get further on. I imagine that as the Leisure Hive continues to decline.
Well, there are leisure planets on Star Trek, too, aren't there?
There are.
So, yeah, right. That's the one I'm thinking of.
I just finished Shore Leave not too long ago.
That's another one. That's not.
It's not Risa.
It's not.
No, that's not.
It's not Risa.
I don't remember the name of that planet now, but
it's still one of those that I look at that and I think to myself,
Shore Leave.
Yeah.
That's
how did this not get quarantined immediately?
No, exactly. It's just oh well.
everything's okay. So it's amusement park.
It's an amusement park planet. You land on the planet. Anything you think of, they quickly manufacture in the bowels of the planet and send up to the surface for you to play with. And
if it happens to kill you, it's okay. They'll take you down in the engine and you'll be okay.
Yeah. And so what does Kirk do? Bring everybody down.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
Except for me, I'm going back to the, oh, wait, there's my girlfriend from high school. I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Yeah, really weird. Anyway, sorry.
Leisure Hive.
Off the track here.
One of my favorite things of this story is Tom Baker, even though first episode he has a small
Even
role.
though we spend about a third of the time aged and running around very slow.
That's my
cool.
favorite part of the story. He does such a good job portraying the old Doctor.
He does. He certainly could
And
have.
the makeup looks great.
What could have happened was we could have had Tom Baker running around with the same energy and the same Doctor mannerisms, just in old makeup, and we don't get that.
Yeah.
We get
He
what
acts
presumes
old.
to be an old Doctor. Yeah.
It's
And the fact that it's kind of the Doctor as a character before he gets old is kind of minimalized, pushed to the back burner until he gets old. And so we don't really get our Doctor that we know and love in this entire story until the very end.
Yeah. We don't get the typical Doctor.
That's what I really
Agreed.
liked about the story. It gave a chance for Romana to shine. For her to show her scientific knowledge.
It also gave the story a chance to kind of breathe and explore itself too. So we find out that there's something going on here. We learn a little bit about this society. We learn a little bit about the political heads of this planet.
Yes.
So we get a dose of what's going on here, so we're not confused when they really start throwing the meat of the story at us. So I appreciated that as well.
I like the cliffhangers.
I'll tell you, this is the one story when I was a kid that just really, I don't know that it really scared me, it just bothered me psychologically, was when the Doctor goes into the tachyon machine and then you see him on the image and his arms and legs and everything split apart. And I remember after that just sitting there going, what? And just sitting there trying to process it for a while. And then it was right before bed, and so I didn't sleep at all that night. Going, what happened to the Doctor? How is he going to get out of that mess? It wasn't even a scary thing. It was just one of those uncomfortable.
Well, and
gosh.
it's very much the way it's done. Not only for the shock value of it, because it's not the.
It was shocking. That's what it was.
It's the added Tom Baker screaming.
Yeah, and the really quick pan into his face, or zoom into his face. Yeah.
But that one's great. Him emerging at the end of part 2 as an old man is great. And I love the fact that unlike the part 1 cliffhanger, which is very easily rectified because, well, it's just a tachyon projection. It didn't really happen.
Right. And he used a sonic screwdriver to get out.
When apparently bent it.
That's how we made the hole.
It's the head on that thing is all like this. And Zombie Fobby commented, Colton says, did anybody notice that the head on that was bent? And Keith was the same way. He was like, that looked like it was horrible. And I was like, well, he said he used it to get out. He didn't say he turned it on. Banging on the thing. But I love the fact that he stays old, that it's not a quick resolution to fix that, like so many of the cliffhangers are. Let's put him in danger. Oh, just kidding. Well, we figured we got out of that.
He is old through the entire third story and into the fourth story.
Most of the fourth, yeah. Which apparently this is a season to put Tom Baker in makeup. Because next up is Megalos.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know beyond that, but
Cactus. You know what's going to happen? We're going to talk crap on Megalos for months.
I'm probably going to
and we're finally going to get it. He's going to be like, it's like the Happiness Patrol. It's the greatest episode ever. I don't know why everybody hates it.
It's the best guilty pleasure of Tom Baker's era.
I don't like Megalos. But I also this is also the time when, I'll be honest, when Doctor Who was kind of on the wane for me. Was about the time we got into this season. Was about the time that I kind of started to move away from it a little bit. And then they did this phenomenal E-Space trilogy arc that really sucked me back in with the stuff. And then
vampires.
Nice try there. You've already told me the space vampires.
Okay, so the space vampires. Not like
that wasn't even the first story.
You told me about that like episode 4 of this podcast when we were discussing.
I'm old. Okay, I've had several strokes tonight. Leave me alone.
I smell rubber.
Who's birding a banana?
This fantastic space vampire, and not like the Buck Rogers space vampire, like a real space vampire. And then Peter Davison shows up and just, what happened? So, I like the story. I like the. I love the Argosians. I think the makeup is cool. I like the kind of.
You like the Christmas tree heads with the ornaments?
I like Christmas tree heads with
I
ornaments.
call them artichoke heads.
And they do to me too look a little more like
They're
artichokes.
anthropomorphized
I like
artichokes.
I like the idea that as their life force is waning, or as they're gradually getting older, that the little things fall off is kind of an indicator that
That was apparently a director's
time's about
idea.
to
That
run
he
out.
came up with that. That's how he was
It
going to
wasn't
visualize
until
it.
the second person that
It's very visual.
that I realized it wasn't inside the head; it was outside.
Oh yeah, it's just little.
So
balls
somebody
in
could
the
just go and go bam, and knock all of these balls off, all these little berries loose, and kill them.
I don't get the impression that the balls falling off are what kill you. I get the impression that as you get older, the balls become
Or you
weak
become-
and brittle,
yeah.
and then they fall off, and that's just an indicator. So it's
Or-
not like you can
or
go over and pluck
radiation.
everybody's balls off, and then you. Let me rephrase that.
You're sitting at home right now listening to this going,
I hope you're not driving.
I wonder which way they're going to go with that. Are they going to make a testicles joke?
Because even berries.
All right, I'm done. I totally did not mean that way. That came out totally wrong. So the Famasi were... Oh, man. Sparkly...
I hate it when my balls fall off.
Parker Jr.?
Sparkly lizard things.
Marker Jr.
Dr. Phil, I really want to see a picture of the Famasi riding a Merca.
Oh, yeah, he totally said that he's going to... He
He's
tweeted
going to
that
create
on
a
Friday.
t-shirt of that.
Really?
He said he's
For
going to do a
us.
Traveling Vortex t-shirt. It's going to be a Formazi riding a Merca.
Awesome. I'd love to do it.
He's got to have a pain stick or something. Something big and, a trident or
Let's do
something.
it. Yeah, let's do it. I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll sell that T-shirt if he can
absolutely.
come up with it. Get us all to Galley next year.
Anything else about the story? I think we've covered the main...
I don't know. I've forgotten most of it at this point.
It's enjoyable. If I found it cheap, I'd buy it.
Well, apparently it's $8.88 used on the...
I'd buy it for $8.88.
Well, now this is the one where the randomizer. We realize that the randomizer has been.
Well, he's turned off. He mentions he's turned off
That's right.
the
He
randomizer.
shut it off so that the Black Guardian can't.
specifically so that they could go to Brighton Beach.
Yes.
And then uses the randomizer to help stabilize the tachyon fields.
Right.
Because Romana's like, don't we need that? And he's like, I don't like not knowing where I'm going. And she makes some comment about, you've never known that.
Yeah.
I really liked, what was his name? Pengel. David Haig, the guy that played Pengel, the young,
Oh, yes.
the young up and coming
clone.
Turk who's
Yes.
planning the corporate takeover, the coup,
Yeah.
the
Playing
Kumri.
the coup.
He's planning the Kumri.
I don't think you can just insert it in place of other words.
Sure you can.
We've gone from just inserting it in randomly as just a random word to replacing words with it.
It's better than just getting it wrong completely.
I thought he was cool. I like the certain amount of scenery chewing that his performance did. But
He was such a brat.
Yeah,
well,
he was
not only
brat,
was he
but
was a
wasn't- I
brat,
didn't think it was over the top or
but
anything.
well, he was so into it when he's standing there delivering his
Well, especially-
citizens of Argolis.
Especially once he takes
I
over.
have the helmet, and all I can think of is Elmer Fudd. He's got his spear and magic helmet. Now he's going to go rule the universe, and he's so into it. And I don't care because he's enjoyable. He's just a magnetic, You are a good villain, sir. I'm going to keep my eye on you.
Which you kind of get the idea that he's a villain from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. He's totally... Well, this is the other thing that I thought was really cool. Everybody on Friday Night the original leader, whatever his title was, and he's, oh, my son, you should be more careful. You should not be this. And, he's being very regal, and we've opened diplomats, and then the evil Robert Goulet person shows up and does his bit. And then the leader drops dead. His little berries fall off, and he's done. He's just out. And she shows up, and she's like,
very sympathetic.
There are a whole bunch of responsibilities that I have to take over now, and we'll get to that. Everybody on Friday night who was like, I don't trust her. She's involved somehow.
That was well done.
And nope.
Yep.
Didn't have anything to do with it.
Misdirection.
I like that.
There was a lot of misdirection in this story that was really well done.
And I loved your reaction when the Formazi come out with the let's start ripping clothes and faces off people.
Let's stop playing Mission Impossible.
When Robert's face gets torn off of him, Keith was like, oh, "What?"
I barely tweeted the last story because I was almost on the edge of my seat. I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
He got very quiet in the last episode.
On everybody, Twitter,
well, except for Dr. Phil, who was going, "This is the best part of the story. Is everybody watching? This is cool." I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And again, it's one of those that maybe this is the ultimate party who. This is that story you have to watch with friends in order to really have a good time.
Enjoyed it.
Because, man, I sure don't remember any of the other stuff when I watched it. And it has the potential to go so wrong. I mean, we open with this boardroom scene, and we're talking finances, and your planet is bankrupt, and then the guy shows up, and who did he bring with him? His lawyer? Oh, man, this is going to be a bad one, isn't it? I mean, just... Mm-hmm. And then we've got this weird tachyon thing that's got dancing heads from Labyrinth floating around in the anti-gravity squash court. And you're just kind of looking at this going...
I kind of wish there were light cycles.
Where are we? And then
anti-gravity squash, just so Tron.
And then Pangol shows up and starts screaming, and you're like, I'm okay. There's a shadow on the wall. Let's go. I think it's a fun story.
It is.
All right, Sean. Well, what's coming up next week on the schedule?
Nothing.
I'm going to be very quiet next week during the podcast. Because I will have nothing to contribute.
We will be regaling you with galley stories next week.
I look forward to hearing them.
And we'll talk all about how Glenn lost his luggage and didn't get a cab from the airport. And
I don't have to ride a cab to the airport.
No,
if there's not a shuttle,
you're
coming and getting me.
How? I won't have a car.
You got a car? You're renting a car?
No, but I'm returning it. You weren't here for that story.
You should hear his rent-a-car
story.
You get
here, so that when you get to the hotel, because you won't need it anymore at that point.
And then picking it back up to fly.
No, picking up a different car from another company.
Mel sort of told Holly last night.
Okay, yeah. In order to do it on the cheap, because I had the horrible experience with Hertz last time, so they gave me a credit. Well, the credit expires on the 20th, so I'm making sure to get it in now so that I can use that. So we're renting a car from Budget, and we fly into John Wayne, Santa Ana, and we're driving or rent a car from Budget. Santa Ana. And we're driving it up to the resort that we're staying at, and we're going to use it to pal around, probably go to Universal Studios and that kind of stuff. And then on Thursday, after we go see A Good Day to Die Hard, hopefully at Grauman's Chinese Theater. And did you hear the news? I got to segue for just a minute. So they were interviewing Bruce Willis because he's making the big tour for the Die Hard movies, and he's like, okay, so there's, the guy asked him, so there's going to be a 6th Die Hard movie. He goes, oh yeah.
Oh, I watched that this week, by the way.
He says, yeah, I saw that you checked into it.
Horrible.
Oh, I loved Live Free or Die Hard.
It's almost as bad as the second one.
No, it's so much fun.
I found Live Free fun.
No. That's the key word, because when he starts...
The problem is it's hard to swallow. There's hard to swallow a lot of what's going on there.
Did you watch it back to back with the other Die Hards?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
can understand the reason.
All the others.
This is the direction they're going. Is when things start to go wrong, and specifically the scene in the tunnel when he's talking to himself, and he's like, "Just go down and pick up the kid, and everything will be all right. Need a senior detective," and he slams the door and flips on the lights and goes and throws the car at a helicopter.
I was even fine with that. It was all the computer stuff that was just
it's really up to date.
No. There's up to date and there's asinine. I mean, that's there's stuff that they could not have been doing.
Only fantastic. I cannot take him seriously as a villain.
He jumps out of the car, ramps the car. This is the thing I had. He has problems with the computer stuff, but the fact that the car hits an embankment, flies into the air, smashes into a helicopter, he's okay with that.
That was cool. I was awesome with that.
When he looks around and goes, at that point on, I'm done. I don't care.
When
it's like navigating a tank.
When he's saving the kid in the big power plant,
by driving the UTV through the thing, smashes into her, and then drives it into the elevator shaft. Brilliant.
This is the best part of that movie.
It's an action
There were
film.
too
You
few
turn your
of
mind
those.
off.
There were very die-hard moments in it. It just overall the story was it was such a stretch of the imagination.
That I'll give you, but I mean, it's a Die Hard. It's the fourth Die Hard movie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but all the rest of them, I mean, they at least were grounded a little bit.
No, this is John McClane. He's a cop. He is an
shouldn't be doing
everyday schmuck.
That's exactly true.
Okay, and he's stuck in these extraordinary circumstances, and he happened to survive again and again and again and again. So at this point, he has become a cartoon character, which is what makes it so much fun. That he's acknowledging it and he's laughing.
He's a character.
When he
I'm fine with that.
hits that
I'm okay
chick with the
those.
SUV.
I'm okay with
just,
those.
You know,
it's the.
I don't. But the circumstances don't matter. The circumstances don't matter at that point.
Crap.
Anyway, so he says this is going to be a sixth one. So they're like, really? And he's like, oh yeah, trust me, there'll be a sixth one. So then apparently somebody in the blog sphere, out in the universe, started making a joke about, oh, my God, what are you going to call this one? This? And the universe exploded.
Because they joked about Live Free or Die Hard. What's the next one going to be? A Good Day to Die Hard?
Yeah. So are you ready for this?
Which it is.
People are already demanding Fox. It's like, not only do you have to make a sixth Die Hard movie, it must be named this. Because it's one of those old habits Die Hard.
Oh, I like that.
I like that, too.
The best title ever.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That has to be the last one, though.
Yeah.
There can't be more.
You can't
you
can't do another one. That is just like the perfect confluence of everything.
I think this one simply was going to be called, the 4 was simply going to be called Die Hard 4.0. Because that's the only thing it says. That's what it says on the opening sequence. It says Die Hard 4.0. You never see Die Hard with a Vengeance. Never.
What?
No, you never see it.
You see Live Free or Die Hard in the titles.
Early Free or Die Hard. You do not.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
You must have got some weird...
You do not see it anywhere. It says Die Hard 4.0.
You got a bootleg or something there.
I rented it from Voodoo or whatever, one of those online services.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
No, it was a legitimate copy. It does not say Live Free and Die Hard anywhere.
I own it on DVD and Blu-ray, and it says Live Free or Die Hard on both
not
of
in
them.
the, not in, the title sequence.
In the title sequence,
No,
yeah.
It does
Okay,
not.
we'll go look that up.
Die Hard 4.0. I was shocked. I was like, what the heck?
Anyway, so
I think that's what you saw in your mind.
No, it's really what it says.
after we go see the new one, hopefully at Grauman's, we're dropping the car off at LAX. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it weird to me that he suddenly has a daughter in the fourth movie? I'm okay with, but now he suddenly has a son in the fifth movie.
He had a son and a daughter in the first one.
I thought that was
don't
weird
remember
too
that.
until
He
we
had two
went
little
back
kids
to
in that
watch
picture.
Die Hard.
The
picture that he puts
Yeah, I don't remember
that she
Die Hard
puts
that.
down so that the what's his name doesn't see it. Hans doesn't see
Yeah.
it. It's,
Well, and it's
him,
it's a son.
her, and two kids.
Well, it's even more. They go when Peck, what's his name? William Atherton's character. It's Ghostbusters. He'll always be Peck. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
William Atherton. If you listen to our show, I'm sorry that you were typecast from Ghostbusters on. You're Peck. Anyway, so when he goes to the house to interview them, and he's arguing with the Spanish lady, let me enter, I call an NSI and whatnot, and he's got the kids on TV. Your mom and dad are very great
that's
people.
right. I forgot they
There's
were
a
in there
boy
too.
and a girl. I'd forgotten about the boy.
Yeah.
I was okay with the daughter and but then it was like, he's got a son too.
Forgotten about the boy.
I'd forgotten about that until we went back and watched Die Hard. And I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect.
I hope they really explain really well why he's in Russia.
I'm sure they
He's
will.
I don't think they will.
He's
It's a Die Hard movie.
He's a James Bond type. He's a spy.
Is he?
He's like CIA military or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You've not seen a preview?
The
for this
daughter's
movie?
in
I've seen it, but
The daughter's in it again too.
Is she?
Yeah, she's credited.
Oh, that I hadn't seen.
It's probably just a small part, but yeah,
The
she's
same
in it
chick?
again. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She's hot.
she's on the IMDb page anyway.
Who's also in Death Proof.
Yeah. Also hot. Anyway, so
Still hot.
after we go and see the new Die Hard movie, we're dropping the car off at LAX.
Who went so way off time.
And then taking the shuttle to Galley. We're staying at Galley and then taking the shuttle back on Monday to LAX and renting a different car, this one from Hertz, so that I can use my voucher and drive back to Santa Ana. That ridiculous scenario of events was cheaper than getting a car and keeping it a week.
To me. No,
because then we don't
totally
have to pay
makes
for
sense to
parking
me.
at Galley.
Yeah, right.
So that's...
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. That
The
whole,
parking would cost.
yeah. Oh, it was insane. So that's what we're going to spend our parking money on going to Universal Studios.
Nice.
But
Very good.
So anyway, next week for Friday Night Who, Glenn and I may or may not be able to attend, but we have scheduled Good Man Goes to War.
But me and Sarah will be here.
Keith and Sarah will be in full force, and we may
Sarah may hashtag it Rory Goes to War. That's what she calls it.
You guys will be tweeting about it. This episode's great. This episode's great. She's going, I love Rory. Look at his hair.
I miss Rory.
He's so manly in his Roman costume. Where is my Rory gone? But we may jump in if we can. Meanwhile, Glenn and I will obviously be at Galley next week, and then
is that next week?
That's next week. I hope you have your plane ticket. And then
I do. I'm leaving at 6 a.m. on
6 a.m. on Friday
morning.
Happy joy.
It's gonna be so rough.
Just sleep on the plane.
No, because it's only a 40-minute flight to Dallas, and then I have an hour and a half layover in Dallas, and I can't sleep there or I'll miss my next flight. So maybe I can sleep, but it's only a 2-hour flight between Dallas and L.A. Actually, it's 3, I think. So maybe that won't be so bad.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt your galley plans?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got a last-minute feedback.
Really?
Michelle just sent in something.
Okay.
She says, hey, guys, you probably won't get this in time for this week's show.
Surprise.
But I'm sending it in now while I remember. I follow the person who first posted the fake tweet on Tumblr. Sorry. The subject is Peter Davison death hoax.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She made it to demonstrate to her friends how easy it is to make fake tweets, and as far as I can remember, posted it to her Tumblr to show it to a friend who doesn't have Skype. She has about 2.4 thousand followers, and people started reblogging. She never meant for that to happen. And is, in fact, a huge fan of Peter Davison. So try not to judge. Sincerely, Michelle, who was on Tumblr when this all went down. Sent from my iPhone.
Sheep.
I certainly think, Michelle, it was an unfortunate situation.
She's directing that at me because I called her.
It was
out
an
on
unfortunate situation, but on the flip side of that, with social media, you have to be careful. I mean, it's a responsibility issue, and I think it still boils down to that. So I feel bad that she didn't mean for it to get as far out of hand as it did, but on the flip side of that, you should know.
She should have known better.
You should know better.
I will apologize for being mean because I was kind of mean. Now, I still think that the people who do it maliciously should be dragged out in the street and beaten with Twitter handles.
Absolutely.
I no. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, hashtags like ninja stars coming at you.
It makes you...
All right. Well, if that's going to do it for this week.
Social media ninjas.
Until next week.
We're not quite done yet.
Well, quickly, because you know what?
I interrupted the thing that you guys were on a tangent on.
All right. If that's going to do it for this week.
Good Man Goes to War and good Gallifrey next week.
We'll talk Gallifrey next week.
All right. And please stick around for some auto commentary on the Leisure Hive from Dr. Phil.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
I'm Peter Howell, BBC Radiophonic Workshop composer for Doctor Who, and you're listening to Adventures in Time, Space and Music.
Deactivate it from inside.
We'll get him out of there.
It's jammed.
Switch off the power.
I can't.
Must be something we can do.
Well, you could try shorting the servo log on the door.
Of course.
Well, it's just a thought.
Dr. Phil again with another installment of Adventures in Time, Space, and Music. In this segment, we'll be looking at the music of composer and performer Peter Howell. In this episode, we will look at his work on Serial 5N, Story 110, The Leisure Hive. The Leisure Hive originally aired between the 30th of August and the 20th of September 1980. Peter Howell is a musician and composer who worked at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop from 1974 to 1997, shortly before the workshop disbanded. His musical career began in the 1960s, where he played what is referred to as psychedelic folk with groups ranging from Agincourt to others. Later, he began his career at the BBC as a studio manager and eventually became a full member of the workshop. Beyond his contributions to Doctor Who, Howell's prolific output includes scores for science fiction series, dramas, documentaries, and children's television, including Horizon, The Body in Question, and Michael Palin's Full Circle. In the April 2008 issue of Sound on Sound, Howell describes the instruments he used at the workshop. He started work at the workshop at the same time as Roger Limb, when tape splicing electronic music techniques were on their way out and the use of synthesizers was in its infancy. He worked on these new synthesizers as they became readily available. These included the Fairlight, but more often than not, Howell preferred performing on the VCS3 and Odyssey synthesizers. Later, when polyphonic synthesizers appeared, he preferred the Prophet 5 and his favorite, the Yamaha CS80, over Polymoog synthesizers. Eventually, some of these aforementioned instruments would make their way into Howell's work on Doctor Who. Peter Howell began his work on Doctor Who beginning in 1975 with an uncredited contribution to Serial 4D, Story 79, Revenge of the Cybermen. Carrie Blyton composed the incidental music for the serial. Then producer Philip Hinchcliffe asked the BBC Radiophonic Workshop to enhance the score, which was done by Peter Howell, adding synthesizer cues to Blyton's score. Additionally, he performed special sound design on Serial 4H, Story 81, The Planet of Evil. Later, when John Nathan Turner became producer of Doctor Who in 1980, he approached Peter Howell in the Radiophonic Workshop to create a new arrangement of Ron Grainer's Doctor Who theme as well as provide incidental music, thus replacing Dudley Simpson, who had been the longest-running composer on Doctor Who. In addition to his score to The Leisure Hive, Howell's incidental music contribution spans the Tom Baker stories Warrior's Gate, the Peter Davison stories Kinda, Snake Dance, The Five Doctors, The Awakening, and Planet of Fire, as well as the Colin Baker story The Two Doctors, his final contribution to the series. Along with workshop composer Paddy Kingsland, Howell also composed part of the score for Meglos, as well as the Doctor Who spin-offs K9 and Company, and John Pertwee's radio dramas The Paradise of Death and The Ghosts of N-Space. His music would also appear in the 1999 Stephen Moffat Doctor Who spoof The Curse of the Fatal Death, starring Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor. Regarding Howell's reimagining of Ron Grainer's theme, Delia Derbyshire's original arrangement utilized techniques of musique concrète, French for concrete music, a 20th century form of electroacoustic music that utilizes electronically manufactured sounds. Howell's new arrangement of Grainer's theme was accomplished with the use of analog synthesizers and other effects, including a vocoder. Built from the bass line up, including a 2-against-3 polyrhythm, this version of the theme is energetic and the orchestration makes it timbrally colorful and bold. With its multi-layered orchestration, Howell's version of the Doctor Who theme appeared throughout Tom Baker's final series, Peter Davison's tenure, as well as an adjusted version for Colin Baker's first year on Doctor Who. So successful was this version of the theme is why it appears on nearly every release of Doctor Who on DVD. Since his days at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, Peter Howell went on to form Sound Music Design, a company specializing in providing of music and sound design for the film, television, and radio industries. In May of 2009, Howell participated in a live concert revival of music from the Radiophonic Workshop at the Roundhouse in London. This concert featured music from Doctor Who as well as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and many other works from the vast output of the workshop. In his contributions to education, Howell currently teaches music and sound design at the National Film and Television School, as well as lectures at Bournemouth University's Media Department, Leeds College of Music, and the Screen Academy Scotland, where he has trained over 40 composers who now compose music for feature films, theatre, television, and computer games. Now on to the Leisure Hive directly. Many elements conspire to make the Leisure Hive a groundbreaking serial. With its bold redesign and reimagining, from the costumes and set design to the direction and musical score. A much more serious tone had been set, one that hadn't been seen in Doctor Who since the Philip Hinchcliffe era. Not until Graham Harper's The Caves of Androzani would we see such ambitious cinematic camera work and direction. This is probably what led director Lovett Bickford to go over budget filming the script by David Fisher, a reason that caused him never to be asked to direct Doctor Who again. As a commentary on science, history, racism, and cultural tolerance, Fisher's multi-layered story is beautifully embellished and refined by new script editor Christopher H. Bidmead, who is often underrated in fandom. For the viewer, this story succeeds in creating a world that feels part of a larger universe, including science experiments with ethics issues, Stimson and Hardin's tachyonics experiments and manipulation of time, to economic interests, Brock pulling out financing for the Hyde, the subversions of the West Lodge, etc. The most significant issues hinge around ethnic and cultural xenophobia embodied in the character of Pangle. These themes are as relevant today as they were in 1980. Regarding production, while working to make Doctor Who appear more ambitious and science-based than the previous series, it was growing pains for a new production team, although it doesn't show that much in this story. The first Doctor Who story to utilize the Quantel digital image processing system, this episode is colorful and looks more expensive than most. The element that struck me the most when I first saw it was the soundtrack. I was impressed by how symphonic the score aspired to be with its use of color, dynamics, and timbre. I find it interesting how well and poorly Doctor Who episodes have aged, depending as much as their musical score as on the visual elements and contemporary commentary. I think one of the reasons stories from Series 18 through 23 age as well as they have is by no small credit to the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, and specifically in this case to composer Peter Howell. Howell used synthesizers exclusively in his score to The Leisure Hive, a vast departure to Dudley Simpson's combinations of electronics with session musicians, often featuring the horn, timpani, bass clarinet, and occasionally solo cello. While inspired by compositions such as Maurice Ravel's Bolero and Gustav Holst's The Planets, Howell's score is bold and epic, utilizing a rich harmonic language. Such as with composers Claude Debussy and Igor Stravinsky, Howell's score is timbrally rich and colorful, owing as much to Howell's skill as an orchestrator as to his compositional abilities, therefore encompassing many compositional schools and styles. Howell's use of augmented chords and octatonic scales, those are scales alternating between whole steps and half steps, are elements from jazz rock fusion in the 70s and 80s that would also appear in many science fiction films of the era. This score is one of only a handful of times that elements of the Doctor Who theme play so prominently in the story. It's used as a leitmotif, especially the bass line. The compositional device of the leitmotif, or guiding motif, refers to a recording theme associated with a particular person, place, or idea. Pioneered by 19th century composer Richard Wagner in his grand music dramas, you can see the use of this compositional technique throughout popular film, including Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, and beyond. Howell's varied melodic themes range in musical effect from those of the Fomassi, the grand and majestic music of the Argolan Hive, to the mysterious music surrounding the Argolan Recreation generator, to the bombastic thematic material as Pangol readies Argolis for war. Notice the variety of moods ranging from the humorous to the dramatic as Brock gives the Doctor his scarf, leading them both to reveal the murdered Stimson. This attention to musical detail allows Howell to connect all 4 episodes as a single musical composition. Note Howell's use of rhythm and dissonance as the score builds to the climax of Episode 4, where Tom Baker's Doctor, who had been aged at the end of Episode 2, makes his triumphant return. One compositionally strong moment is the close of Episode 4, where the score leads seamlessly into the closing credits during a dramatic zoom-out from the Argolan Hive. This is probably musically the best segue from incidental music to the closing theme in the history of Doctor Who, absolutely perfect in its execution. A suite of Peter Howell's music from the Leisure Hive appears on a 1993 Silver Records release entitled The Best of Doctor Who Volume 1, The Five Doctors. A much more complete collection of Peter Howell's score is available on the 2002 BBC music release Doctor Who at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop Volume 3, The Leisure Hive. In addition to Howell's score, this compilation also includes sound effects by Dick Mills, as well as from other 1980 serials such as Meglos and Full Circle, whose music would be featured in the 4th volume of the series. Howell's version of the Doctor Who theme received its first commercial release as a single, Doctor Who The Astronauts, of 1980. Lovingly restored by Mark Ayres of the Doctor Who restoration team, the BBC DVD release of The Leisure Hive in 2004-2005 includes an excellent music-only option in a 5.1 audio mix. This is rare insofar as it was not until the late 1980s that Doctor Who was even broadcast in stereo. With multi-track music and effects master tapes, as well as audio sources provided by Ian Levine, the sound restoration work on this story especially is a landmark of the Doctor Who DVD range. The documentaries on this disc, specifically A New Beginning and Synthesizing Starfields, include interviews with Peter Howell regarding the heightened role of the Radiophonic Workshop and his role specifically in the reimagining of the Doctor Who theme. These documentaries also include archival footage demonstrating the synthesizers, vocoder, and other equipment used by the workshop. One excellent inclusion is Howell's demo reel of new music accompanying a sequence from the previous series, Serial 5L, Story 108, The Horns of Nymon. While disappointed that there is not a separate music commentary by Peter Howell, as this story is more music intensive than most, I would still nonetheless recommend all the documentaries on this disc. These alone should make this DVD a must-own for collectors of the classic series range.
What about it?
Well, we can't just leave it here.
Why not? I don't like not knowing we're going to turn up next.
Neither does the Black Guardian. That is the point of the thing.
What's
the Black Guardian's a real threat.
Some galactic hobo with ideas about his station. The cosmos is full of them. Anyway, there's been enough randomizing on this job.
Job? It looks meant to be a holiday.
Well, then I'm going to be very glad to get back to work. And I'm missing K9.